for them. I'm just advertising for them when I do that. They're not going to mind that.
I gotta go. But listen, man, you got to come on our show. How about not next weekend and not the weekend after that, but the one after that one?
Okay.
You do that.
Oh, just send me an email at monstercastleparanormal.com.
Yeah, I'll email you. All right, we'll stay in touch. And hey, I'm going to give the phone to...
Email is monstercastleparanormal@gmail.com.
Monsterparanormal@gmail. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, bro.
We'll get in touch. And here's Eric.
We'll have his
Dude,
contact your...
keep on, brother.
All right.
So you guys have all of these houses.
Right on. So there you go. You got to talk to Jimmy Church. You got to talk to the theologians of Orion, and that was a Gigi Rabbit.
Oh, that was theologian. Oh, who was it?
That was Ronnie. Remember that show that we were talking about it 20 minutes ago? That we were all drunk. That's her.
I didn't know that's her name.
Yeah,
I thought it was Athena.
Ronnie. The girl that wrote the book, The Theologians of Orion, that her mother channels those extraterrestrials. Remember that?
Yeah, she's wanting to come on my show soon again.
Yeah. Anyway, keep in mind I've been pretty much partying like conservatively for about 12 hours, so just keep that in your mind.
Well, hey Eric, I just sent you a message on the chat thing, so you got my contact.
My iPad is not where I'm at physically, so I can't check it. I will check it, I promise. But yeah, just plan to come up. I mean, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool people. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, Clyde's here. You can just sit down and chat with him.
Oh, I don't want to tell Clyde I'm there. I want to sneak up on him.
Yeah, let's do it. You know what? It would be fun if you wanted to. I could actually either video it. And he won't even know. I'll just stand in the background, and then you can walk up to him, and you can introduce however you want to handle it, and then I'll have it all on tape, and if you want, I'll send it to you afterward. It'll be fun. It'll be kind of fun.
Unless he remembers my voice, it'll be hard to do, but he might remember my picture, so he's got that information as well. So.
Okay, I have a stat for you. Wolfman, check this stat out. We were talking to Clyde today, and he was talking about how many listeners he has.
Yeah.
It was something like 22 million. It was some ridiculous.
Who's that?
We're not talking just in the United States. We're talking worldwide. This guy's got a lot of listeners. So anyway.
Who's that?
Clyde, his name is Clyde Lewis. Your guest can tell you more, but he's pretty awesome. You just Google Clyde Lewis.
Okay.
Tell us, John. You probably know better than I do, John Carmen.
Yeah.
Tell me about Clyde Lewis. What do you know about this guy?
Oh, he's fantastic. If you want to compare Clyde with some of the other paranormal radio talk show hosts, and I haven't done shows with everybody. I go back as far as Art Bell and John B. Wells and a few other people, but Clyde Lewis is up there. He's really intelligent. He's well-read. I listen to him every night. And the last 2 nights he's been pre-recorded because he's up in Joshua Tree.
Exactly.
But this guy is so sharp. He lets people talk, and he lets them bury themselves, and he talks to all these late-night redneck truckers and weirdos and all kinds of people, profile that you can add. But I'd hate to get into a discussion about certain things in the Bible because I hear you. He's smart. He knows.
Yeah, if you want him on your show, if we could get him on your show, we got a whole bunch of. There's like probably 3. We ran into Laura Eisenhower.
Oh yeah.
We talked about her earlier, but she's.
How did she look? I'm going to tell you, as a cop, how did she look in her eyes?
Okay, well, she's had a few drinks. Let's put it that way.
Well, if she's not sort of dancing around and jittery and talking.
No, she's on a good one right now. She's okay right at the moment.
So she's calmed down. I would love to talk to her, honestly.
She's here. You know what?
Yeah.
Now would be the time to talk to her because
Well, she's buzzed.
No, she's not buzzed. She's actually sober right now.
Give her a bowl.
No, I can't do that. But you know what? The 3 of us could.
Yeah. The 3 of us.
It's amazing. You got all these people in this paranormal industry, whether it's, ancient aliens or it's secret space or it's, the dimensional beings. I mean, you could go up and down and in and out of the rabbit hole. Every character that knows about any part of the rabbit hole is here right now.
that makes it real important. I have to tell you, I tried to reach out to her on a YouTube because I told you I listened to a whole hour and a half to 2 hours of her dissertation, and a lot of times people don't respond, and I'll put my email or contact information, but they never respond. So they're blowing me off, or maybe they don't have time for it, or they're afraid of the questions I might ask. So. Yeah, I'm still positive. I want to reach out to people like that anyway. It sounds great.
I'll tell you what I've learned. This is just, and it's not that I know any more than anybody else, but my experience is that a lot of it is timing. Like, you just got Jimmy Church. He didn't even know he was on the air. I handed the phone to Jimmy. He didn't even know he was live on the air. But he probably...
What? We're live?
Hey, do you know that you got to tell people that, or it's against the law, eh?
Well, you're in Canada.
Yeah.
We're in California,
that's true.
But he's the kind of guy that he's cool with it because he trusts me, and it's just we're just having fun. So he's not going to make a big deal about it.
In California, it's against the law to have to tell.
We're a two-party state.
Oh, okay.
You can't do a Linda Tripp routine on us.
Okay. You know what else? Let me tell you something else that's against the law in California. If the speed limit is 65, for example, and you're doing 95, that's against the law. But you know what? If you don't get caught,
really? I didn't know that.
If you get pulled over and you don't get a ticket, then who the fuck cares?
Yeah. If you don't have the bumper stickers I've got all over my car,
you got the bumper stickers. I know what ones you're talking about.
You know what the thin blue line is, right?
Yes, you have those special stickers they give out.
I have another one I just put on my window and the rear window in the front, which is a black American flag, and it won't light up until you hit it with a spotlight. So
that's good, though. You know what? Because then it makes their job easier, right, though? Because then they know you're okay, and they know not to waste their time with you, so they just let you go, right?
Maybe. Maybe. It depends, But it's like that drunk guy. When you pull over the drunk guy, it says, "Honest, officer, you only drink, I've been thinking."
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I tested a guy who was on marijuana one time, which is a combination of DUI, and he passed the test with flying colors. And I said, I'm gonna see if he knows how to do the count backwards from 75 to 55, and he did it. So I told him, "Can you do the alphabet
Holy shit,
backwards?"
Hey, Eric, while he's talking, do you mind muting?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I missed that.
Can you mute your mic while he's talking?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we can't hear John at all over the noise in the background there.
The filter.
They're partying it up over there.
Did you hear when I stopped this guy for DUI and he passed the DUI stuff? So it was a combination. He wasn't drunk. He was on something else. So when I had him do the, you know how they test you for counting backwards? You have to go 75 to 55 and stop at 55. Yeah. He did it really well. So I said, okay, can you do the alphabet backwards? He says, sure. He did it backwards. I could not friggin' believe it.
Well, that sounds like dyslexia.
You can practice. You can practice.
Everybody, all geniuses are dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. I can read backwards, upside down, mirror image. I can write left and right at the same time. My name, weird stuff. But I had to write it out and go, wait a minute, X, Y, Z, Z, Y, X, blah, blah, blah. You'd have to write it down and visually see it first to do it. You know, and this guy did it. I said, hey, you can go. Just don't hit anybody, you know. But those are rare occasions because I used to do that when I was a cop. But I've got it all. I've got state, local, and federal training. That's what throws these people off. They don't think that I've got all this training, and they still don't get it. See, I'm still throwing stuff at people that they haven't even investigated yet for over 20 years. And it still involves national security, Canadian border, not to mention our Canadian friends, down to the Mexican border, and it's like an open sieve. I hate to use the same vernacular that they've used for years, but it's still the same. And every administration lies about it.
It's gotten better, though, hasn't it, since Trump got in there?
Oh, yeah, everything's going to be better because Trump's there, but it's like you could tell that he's hitting all the sensitive spots because they're constantly attacking ever since he won the election. Since day one,
God,
as soon as he got sworn in.
Anything like it.
Huh?
I can't
Well,
see anything like
we're
it. We
doing-
can't do anything without.
You guys, I'm going to take a 5-minute break, so I'm just going to mute, just so you know.
Okay. Charge your phone if you can.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just going to mute and charge my phone.
Great. Awesome.
Plug in.
All right. And then we should take a break too, guys. We've been.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah. It's either that or I could do this while I'm driving.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea. Get in your car, get up, and
Monster Castle Paranormal Digital Radio.
And all right, so I'm looking for something. We're gonna put something on here.
If you make a donation, every dollar will be put into a 50-50 draw. You could be our next winner. Follow us on Spreaker.com or get the mobile app, the Spreaker podcast app, and follow Monster Castle Paranormal and Dirty Rotten Taro. Wolfman Mike 47 on Spreaker and Skype for calls, and in Twitter as well. And join us in hashtag 47Talk for live interaction in Twitter. Alright, yeah. Make a call to the station at Wolfman Mike 47 on Skype, 775-990-8447 in the United States, and 226-271-3466 in Canada. Thank you, and shut up, Melvin Spacely. I'm trying to do a commercial here. Alright, yeah. Fantastic.
Weehaw! Trolls are us, yeah!
Trolls are us. Do you have an internet troll problem? Well, we can help. Just search for trollsrus.com. We will send all kinds of trolls to the party that is trolling you. Just listen to our best customer.
When I was getting trolled hard by a group of trolls, and I said to myself, there's got to be some truth to what these guys are saying. It's got to be. And so it was at that time I started really replaying and listening to myself in the car, wherever I was. And I thought, I'm a pompous bitch.
Go to Trolls R Us today and take care of your problems in our snarky fashion. That's trollsrus.com.
Yeehaw! Trolls are us!
Renounce this superstitious and hysteric program of the MCC.
You see ghosts, you talk about them, aliens, you talk about them. Are you kidding me, Wolfman? You literally had ghosts calling on a ghost box. You're going to lose a lot of credibility. Lake Monster gobble you up in one fucking bite. I'm calling you out, my friend. You are scared of the girl from Texas. Well, I sure wouldn't be sitting there admiring the rippling, glistening fucking muscles of the fucking marsupial.
He was hairier than a Sasquatch. Oh my goodness. Who in the world are you? Hollering like that. Angry as life. Do your neighbors hear you? You must live in the forest for you to yell that loud. The Monster Castle. Paranormal Radio.
Witnesses have described it as not quite right.
Right. The Wolfpack. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I'm only over here because I heard your sweet fucking voice on the phone.
Yeah. Cushion eject. Does your cassette mechanism make a terrible sound like this when you open it? Well, we got something better for you. We got cushion eject today. We could get some funny sounds like that when it pops out. It will be slow and smooth. Cushion eject is the best in ejection mechanisms for any tape cassette. And we can install cushion eject today. Use called KTEL. More cushion for the pushing, baby. Yeah. More cushions for the pushing with cushion eject. All right.
Oh, she's back in.
Hey, I put a comment on your page.
Which page? The Twitter or the Spreaker?
The Monster Castle Paranormal page. It's
Okay.
actually the page where I'm listed as a guest. So
Yeah. There's so
So I
many
put a-
chats in so
put a
many
com-
places. Do you want us to go there and look at it?
yeah, if you want. Oh,
I had a
I
friend
see
who-
typos. I can't
police
type for shit in the dark.
had
I
a
think
friend
you
that
get
was
the
a
gist
police
of it,
officer,
though.
and every time he got pulled over by the police, he had his because he was retired, he would have his old badge. He never gets tickets, ever.
Well, some of that stuff's true and not true. See, I've had my share of being pulled over, and I've been let go for, just whatever, speeding or whatever. But I was out conducting surveillance, or I was doing work as a PI, or one thing or another. So I've dealt with people that were just doing their jobs most of the time. But some guys were assholes too, and I've run across those kind of guys as well. And they wore badges just like I did. Sometimes you just you got to go with the flow and just do whatever you have to do. And if they want to write a ticket, you go ahead and let them write you a ticket. I think I had one speeding ticket in my whole life, and I went to the school to get it removed.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah, one ticket my whole life. So it's good.
once.
I've been driving since 1970. So that's over 40 years, right?
I've contributed to the state fund many times.
Yeah, there you go. And I went through special training, so that means I used to do police pursuit training, high-speed stuff, federal, state, and local stuff. So when you put through all the training academies and all that, you know how to stop on a dime, turn around at 180 to 360s, and do all kinds of stuff like the what do they call it, the pit maneuver? I call it the Rick maneuver. It's either the same thing. Chasing people down in high-speed pursuits, and then you tap their tail.
Have you done that yourself? John, have you done it yourself?
No, I almost did. I was in a pursuit from the border because a van was sent to secondary from the Mexican border, and he kept going. So I saw the yellow slip, which was on the windshield. He tried to grab it, take it off. So I chased after him, put the lights and siren, the whole 9 yards. That's the biggest fun and thrill in a cop's or a Fed's career is to chase after these bad guys because they're hiding stuff or they've got drugs, and you may get into a situation where you have to pull over, pull out your gun, do whatever. And I've done that, and I've arrested people. But this guy kept driving, and I had a Border Patrol agent who was in a cul-de-sac, and he pulled off to the side, and when I chased the guy inside the cul-de-sac, which is a one-way in, one-way out thing, he didn't block off the street like he would normally have done, and I almost had to shoot the guy. And I let it go because it just wasn't worth that. It wasn't that kind of a situation where you wanted to kill a guy. You know what I mean? Deadly force.
I sure do know what you mean.
So I jumped back in the car, chased after him, and I flipped off the Border Patrol agent because he was sitting there with his lights off. I said, "You stupid idiot, you should have blocked him off. I would have had him easy, you know," but he didn't do that because they're told to stand down, right? That's BS. Interagency does not work all the time. I ended up chasing the guy through the streets, the city streets. He tapped my vehicle. I was trying to do the Rick maneuver or the pit maneuver on him. And I didn't get a chance to tap him more than once. It didn't work. And I was like, 1,000 yards from the border by that time. So I chased him right back into Mexico. If I had got him flipped before the Mexican border, he would have crashed into a big part of the border building area. And there was a bunch of customs and immigration inspectors standing out there because they wanted to see what was going to happen. Well, they put themselves in harm's way, which means I couldn't do the maneuver because the car would have flipped in their direction. You see, that's a logistical thing. What's that?
Did he get away?
Oh, no, he didn't get away. He went into Mexico, and they caught him and messed with him down there. But in another case, the guy came back the next day, and I caught him at the border coming back. Same guy.
I bet that was satisfying.
Yeah, he came through my lane. I looked at him. He's nervous as hell. He handed me a resident alien card, and I go, something's wrong with this guy, and he looks really familiar. So I took him inside, patted him down, the whole 9 yards. I said, you know what? That's the same guy. He was a musician. He was driving a van. What was in the van? Or was he just drunk? Who cares? If he was drunk, it would have been handled differently, but he could have had a load of narcotics in the van. You don't know if he had people in there or not. So he risked his life. He could have got killed, and he's stupid. But he came back. He was so nervous. I don't know what his problem was. So I had to get internal affairs to come down. And they get into weird fights. Go ahead.
Have you ever caught people in cars?
Oh, hell yeah.
Have you ever caught people?
Yes. I've caught people in the trunks of cars. I've caught people in a whole vehicle full of people, and they didn't have passports or documents. They're just like looking at me. They were from South America. South Americans are worth a lot of money. If you paid money to get across the border, the Mexicans are like $1,500 to $1,000 or something. South Americans are like 3 times that amount, 4, 5, 6,000 a piece. Chinese are outrageous. 10,000 and more per person.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. Huh. So you got to wonder about the money and where it's going and how they're getting into Mexico. Mexico doesn't care. If you pay the money, you pay the smugglers or pay whoever, they don't care. You're there. That's it. So you can blend in. It's like an invasion, and it's, for Canada, it's different. If a Pakistani wants to go to Canada and they immigrate, or they get there illegally or not, Canada gives them all their stuff as soon as they land. Yeah, here's your Social Security card, here's your food stamp card, here's your whatever card, and here's a job or not, and they give them everything. Then, once they get that Canadian ID card, they walk across the border because we have a special agreement with Canada that Canadians can come and walk across the border in the United States for 6 months, no problem, and go right back. But if they don't, they have to get a permit. See,
can I ask you a dumb question?
Go ahead.
John, why don't illegal immigrants just hop in a boat and then just land on the Oregon coast and just walk here?
They do. They try it. See, the problem is that's where you got Coast Guard and U.S. Customs and Immigration out there in patrol, but mostly Coast Guard. And surfers will take surfboards up from Mexico to San Diego, and they'll do submarines and drugs and all kinds of stuff. But they do. They come up in boats, and they eventually get up there, and then they crash into the coast somewhere and disperse. And if they don't know where they're going or they don't have contact to pick them up in the car, they're kind of like left out in the open, you know? But it's like, you have to understand this. I'm going to say something real serious about the attitude of some Americans is you see it on the movies a lot. In other words, once you get here, you get some stupid American to say, hey, you're an American now. Welcome to America. That does not make them an American because they landed here at all. You know, if you want to go back to Plymouth Rock, that's different. But that's before the Immigration Act and all those laws. But no, they still have to go through processes. But there's a place in the East Coast near the Florida coast. There's a piece of land. I can't remember what island it is. It's a small piece of land. Cubans would go over there and get on this piece of land that belongs to the United States. And once they get on there, they're in the United States by law, by legality. So they can ask for amnesty or political asylum. If they get returned to Cuba, Castro would kill them. See, that sort of thing. So there's all these laws people don't understand, but Hollywood screws it up for everybody because they put out these misconceptions about what goes on, and people think, oh, well, it's okay, you can do whatever, and they don't. They lie. And there's so many liberals in California that they screw up other people's situations. You know, because I used to catch people at the border, and college kids go down to get drunk on the weekends, and when they come back, they're bringing a guy, and he forgot his green card, and he's from Samoa, or not Samoa, American Samoa is American, but, well, I don't think it was Vanuatu, but I think it was one of the other island chains, but it was not Hawaiian, it wasn't American Samoa, it was another island. And he had a green card, but the other kids were trying to say, oh, he's with us, he's okay, he's American. No, you can't say that. If you say it again, I'll arrest you for interfering. They don't get that. And the guy says...
What did they do, send him back?
Well, no, I didn't send him back. I just interviewed him and found out he had a green card. If he's got a green card and he didn't have it with him, he has to pay a fine, $200 or $300. They'll look him up on the computer, verify his information after they interview him, and he answers all the questions. And nowadays, because of a suggestion I made, they have a computerized system. So if you're fingerprinted and you're in the system, you can just put your fingers on a reader, and it'll identify you and positively confirm who this guy is. Then they'll let him in eventually. So it'll take an hour or two, maybe. But before, you cannot send an American back to Mexico. You can't send an American back to Canada because it's illegal for the officer or immigration agent or whoever who's doing that. If you came into this country as an American, they can never send you back. You refuse, and you have to speak to a supervisor, and you complain like hell. And then you sue them because they're violating your civil rights. If you're a Canadian and you live here, you have to have a green card. I've caught Canadians at the border coming through, and they're coming like tourists. I say, oh, what's your citizenship? Oh, we're Canadian. Really? Let me see your IDs. And I confirmed them. I said, you don't live in the United States? Like they're not resident aliens? They said, no, we're not. We're just visiting. Oh, so you're in transit. You live in Canada, you came all the way through the United States, went to Mexico, and now you're coming back. Is that it? And they said, yeah. Okay, open up your purse, ma'am. Husband and wife, right? As soon as they opened up their purse, I saw California driver's licenses and resident immigration cards that showed that they were resident aliens, so they lied. I ripped them out of their wallet, took them over to immigration after I satisfied myself there was no customs issue. And I go, why did you guys lie? Because they were out of status, that's why. See, they could legally live in the United States because they had green cards, but they were out of status, which means they weren't living in the United States. They were passing by, passing through, whatever, and they were maintaining resident status when they weren't, which is illegal. You understand?
I understand. Have you ever
it's crazy, isn't it?
Has there ever been like someone from South America that was dead in a trunk or anything like that?
Well, you just mentioned something we were looking for in 1985 because I was working in Calexico at the time in 1983 to about 86, and we had Operation Kiki Camarena. I met Kiki Camarena. He was a DEA agent. He went to school. He was a U.S. Marine, and he was a hero. And he got captured by the cartel, maybe CIA-connected people, which is a real serious radio show in and of itself. And they killed him. They tortured him and killed him in Guadalajara, Mexico. And apparently we've got 3 people that are still under witness security from the 1985 killing of this agent. And we had Operation Kiki Camarena so that we stopped every vehicle coming into the United States and looked at all the compartments. Open up the hood, open up the trunk, look in the back seat, everywhere. Because the body was supposedly going to be returned. Or it was a slowdown, like a work action. So that was during Reagan, when Reagan was president. And because of that, we forced the government of Mexico to locate the guy's body and his pilot, and then it was returned back to the United States. And I'm very connected to the people because I met them. I knew the family through other people at work that actually lived and knew this guy in school and everything. And the stuff that happened there is really bad. But yeah, they've done all kinds of weird stuff. They threatened to get an officer or an inspector or an agent at the border and kidnap us and kill us. So I've lived with death threats from the cartel since '83. And I had death threats when I seized a bunch of heroin in 1985, 86 as well. On my enlisted phone number when I got home the same day. Can you believe that? It's crazy.
How did they find that?
Well, think about it. Internal corruption. We have people in the Customs Service that are connected to cartels. And when I caught that heroin off of a border crosser, a Mexican border crosser, that was a big seizure. I mean, that was worth millions of dollars, and that meant somebody was going to pay for it one way or another. Normally, we seize contraband, we arrest the violator, he goes to prison, and the contraband goes to the U.S. Attorney's Office as evidence, and then after the trial, it gets destroyed, unless a guy tries to dispute it under an appeal, but they still destroy it. Well, what the supervisor did, who was a Mexican-American customs supervisor, I won't mention Honorio Garcia was his name, or is his name, and he called up some narcs down in Mexico, and they came up, and he gave them the contraband. I said, you can't do that. That's a violation of law. I could arrest him. That's when I called Internal Affairs. That's when I got the district director involved and all these high-ups. See, they violated the law, and they let the guy skate, and I could have arrested him. See, how would that look if I pulled my gun on a supervisor, put him in cuffs, and then threatened to kill him if he resists, and then call Internal Affairs and have them come over and then try to hash that out? That would be lots of fun, wouldn't it? At the same time, I'm waiting for a port director or somebody really high up. So it can get nasty doing your job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the Frank Serpico case. Frank Serpico, the infamous whistleblower from New York PD over in New York.
But tell us. I don't know anything about it.
Oh yeah, it's a famous case. He's like an icon. He's also an April date of birth, so that makes him an Aries. It's kind of weird, Aries people in these special positions. But he disclosed corruption in the New York Police Department, and they're taking money and bribes and graft and things like that, and he didn't take money because he didn't believe in it. Well, they targeted him, and because of that, and there's a movie called Serpico with Al Pacino, very famous movie, 1973-74, and he got in situations, and they put him in a bad situation where he had death threats, and he actually got shot. Now, he could have pulled his gun on some of these people, these corrupt cops, but they weren't definite targets, so to speak. There was a lot of aggravation and stuff like that. So you couldn't be in the same car with these guys. You couldn't trust anybody, but they just didn't step over the line just yet. You know what I mean? So it was all borderline stuff. But he actually got shot in the face because they didn't back him up, and he had a Browning high power with 14 rounds, the whole 9 yards, and he had to bust through a door on a narcotics buy. And that's a good movie. I recommend you get it. Serpico with Al Pacino. It's a very famous movie.
I saw the one with Sylvester Stallone where he's trying to bust the cops. Did you ever see that one? Where he's Freddy or whatever.
What was it?
He was like the dumb sheriff, and there was.
Wait a minute. I know what it was. I saw that movie. He was an undercover or plainclothes detective. And he was the guy that they called for the hard cases. I remember that movie. I just can't think of the name of it right now.
Yeah, he ended up having to kill all the cops. That was a great movie. I loved it. I forget what it was called.
He had a 45 in his belt, and some guy parked right near his car. And I think he tapped him or bumped him or something like that. And the guy was a Cholo gang member or something. And he just went up to him and ripped his shirt out and tossed him around because he had his gun right there. I don't know if he had his badge displayed, but he went after some bad guys in a supermarket, robbery, and things like that. It was pretty cool. I think that was his girlfriend that was playing the tall blonde model in that movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The Swedish girl. I can't think of her name. But, there's tons of good movies that get into those subjects. I'm just waiting for somebody to do my movie, you know. When are they going to do my story? But you remember the movie about Gary Webb, who was the San Jose Mercury News reporter that reported about the CIA distributing cocaine with Ricky Freeway Ross in California?
A little bit about it. Can you tell us about it?
Well, there was a movie called the Kill the Messenger. That's the movie. It came out last year, I think. And I met Gary Webb. Gary Webb is pictured on my website, customscorruption.com, with me and Maxine Waters. They cropped it off, so he's off on the right edge, but I'm sitting there with Maxine Waters because I went to this Crack the CIA Coalition meeting up in L.A. Well, I had another buddy of mine up there from LAPD, Mike Rupert. Mike Rupert was also one of the guys that exposed the CIA director, John Deutsch, because they were involved in these programs where they were getting cocaine and distributing it through these drug dealers like Ricky Freeway Ross, who's out of prison now. And they would get these people involved with this stuff because that's what they did. It was part of a big operation, and they were trying to disseminate all this stuff, and they were doing damage to the black communities and all this. Well, I came out and exposed this stuff along with Mike Rupert and Gary Webb. Gary Webb ended up killing himself, supposedly, with a revolver, 2 shots to the head. And I don't know many people that can commit suicide with a revolver and pull the trigger twice.
Oh, shit. How many
Think about that.
Get killed? How many whistleblowers do you think get killed?
Dozens. I'll tell you off the top of my head. Colonel Sabo, the United States Marine Corps, Danny Casolaro, another news media guy. I'm not sure about Ted Gunderson, former FBI. He was killed in a situation, it was questionable. Gary Webb, and then, Mike Rupert, he killed himself about 2 years ago on my birthday. So I can't forget that. He was up in Oregon, so he was up in the northern areas. He got so frustrated, it didn't figure out. Nobody would help whistleblowers. I'm doing radio shows. That's good. He did stuff, and he gave up, or it started to dwindle, and then people have problems. They turn to drugs or alcohol or whatever, and they just sort of go off in a different deep end because the stress and the type of action that they put against these people, like myself, death threats, job actions, all kinds of stress going on there, tampering with your vehicles. I've been in a car crash, illegal traffic stop. They lost that case. Say it again?
Shout out to Yuck Nasty in the chat room. Hey, if you want to join in, Yuck, I can add you to the call.
Or you can come in Discord.
Yeah, I'll entertain questions. But these guys are getting killed off. I got a buddy of mine who's ex-DEA, Sully Castillo. He's still in Texas, and they set him up on a illegal arrest, allegedly selling a handgun to somebody. And I said, well, are you kidding me? You can sell a handgun. You just have to do paperwork and do whatever. But they will set you up. The government will do that because you're exposing information that they don't want out, like the Clintons and the body count and the troopers that I mentioned earlier.
What about that kid that supposedly gave all the information to WikiLeaks and then ended up dead?
Oh, Seth Rich? Yeah. Look at the situation. You got Ed Snowden. You got people like myself. You got Julian Assange, who they just dropped charges against him because they tried to put some trumped-up charges on an alleged rape, so they could use that to get him into prison. And then once they get him in there, they'll either kill him or they'll set him up in another way. That's what they do. So he's setting it out in a Venezuelan embassy somewhere. And Ed Snowden's in Russia, being taken care of by our friend Mr. Putin. I know he's being taken care of very well because I got another friend of mine named Steven Seagal who's back in Russia. He's got a passport. So he's got dual citizenship.
So when you said that you trust the Russians, you really meant it?
Yes, I do. I've protected Russians. I've dealt with Russians. I don't go out drinking with them or having lunch with them or nothing, but I understand what's going on. We are not enemies. That was World War II, and we went and fought the Germans together. We are also part of the United Nations, are we not? Tell me.
We are. We are.
Thank you. Thank you. That should answer the question. A lot of people are stupid out there, and they don't get that. I said, wait a minute. Is China a member of the United Nations? Yeah. What about Russia? Are we members? Yeah, we're still all members. Okay, well, then what's the problem? Try to get it adjusted to 2017 and not 1945, because that's what people are doing, is they're trying to throw in the Cold War attitude, and that's illegally wrong. Look at Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to forget her ever. She sold 20% of the uranium through some Clinton deal to the Russians. And Mr. Bill Clinton, former president, spent time in Moscow for three to 4 months during some summer vacation of his, and they covered and sealed that record. Why? Now, there's a questionable relationship. If that got out, they wouldn't have let him run for office. At least the left-wingers would have used that as an excuse. And as soon as Hillary lost the election, they're blaming the Russian thing. And come on, there is no Russian thing. I've had contacts with people through the media, and I've seen YouTube stuff in Russian, in English. Putin denied all that stuff, and he's not stupid. The guy's a former KGB, FSB guy.
I am listening right now.
Secret Service.
I am not stupid. I am listening to you right now.
That's right. Vaslavadanya.
Yes, I am drinking vodka. I like the Wolfman show.
and you
sure
like
Zdravia.
Huh?
Yes. Do you have a question for me?
Spasiba.
Yes, that's right.
What's your favorite judo hold, Mr. Putin?
I like the one where I bend over.
Well, he actually loves judo, and I learned it in Japan when I was in 8th, 9th, 10th grade, whatever. And that was like 1968. His style is the same style that I learned. It's under Jigoro Kano, who's the original founder of judo. My black belt test was given by Raisei Kano, who was the son of the founder. That's a big deal. It's like me and Steven Seagal. That's a big deal. But Putin really does live that stuff. And a lot of people don't understand that. So if you looked at my background, martial arts training, expert marksmanship, Secret Service, blah, blah, blah. I protected embassies, presidents, and all sorts of... I think I have a special background, and this guy does too, and he's not going to be the type person. And he's a Christian. Let me raise that. He's not a Kenyan from Kenya and a Muslim lying SOB. He's not. He's a Christian, and he believes and says what he means, and he's straight. So when people tell us all this BS, they're trying to disrupt our relationship with them because that gives them an edge, which is control. And I'll say it again, that's how they control people, is to put some sort of an edge that people are scared and they're worried. So what a better lie would be, oh my God, the communists, the Russians, the Chinese. I don't think we need to worry about either of those people. We need to worry about this guy, Kim Jong-un, in North Korea right now. That guy's crazy.
That's all right. We will crush him like grape. Just squish grape in fingers.
Silently.
The brains pop out.
Grapes are good. Grapes are good.
What do you think of the meeting that they had with the Russian guy about Syria? What's wrong with Trump talking about what's going on over there? Is he not
there is
allowed
nothing
to do
wrong
that?
with it. See what I mean? You ask me a straight question, I will tell you there is not a damn thing wrong with it.
John,
in fact, it's his job to talk to those people. What?
That's what I think.
Of course. See, that's common sense because we know the president has every right to make a phone call to Putin and sit there and shoot the shit with him and say, hey, how's your day? Oh, my day's fine. Well, I want to talk to you about this and I want to talk to you about that. And they talk back and forth. It's his job. Okay? Russian ambassadors and stuff. Now, they killed a Russian ambassador in Turkey, Ankara, Turkey, and I was just talking to somebody about a job back there through the American embassy, and that didn't pan out, but look at the timing. Some wacko nut job Muslim shot and assassinated a Russian ambassador. Did Mr. Putin send in the troops? No, he didn't.
When he was talking?
Yeah, the guy that was giving a speech. The guy walked up to him and shot him.
God, that was horrible.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you got people who are using all kinds of examples, and then Obama, the Kenyan, kicks out the Russian ambassadors, a few months before the election or something, claiming some sort of impropriety. Are you kidding? And then Trump will end up having to welcome them right back. And did Putin kick out our ambassadors? No, he didn't. You see what I mean? They're playing games and they're really pushing buttons. And Putin's not stupid, but if it's going to do any damage, that's the damage. In other words, Obama kicks out the Russian ambassadors. He's getting ready to leave office. He doesn't care about the repercussions of it because he's a Muslim. Okay? He's already made it public record. If things get ugly, he will side with the Muslims. You can quote me on that. You can look it up. But the point is, he left a mess. He damaged the United States in such a worse way, especially with letting all these refugee Muslim terrorists in and stuff like that without having them properly screened and vetted to make sure that they weren't what they really look like, But Putin could have sat back and said, hey, you kicked out our Russians, we're going to kick out your Americans now.
Yeah, well, that's why...
we would have taken 10 steps back because of Obama.
He said, wait till we get in there. And then they go, oh, you can't do that. It seems like he's trying to have good relations with them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Myself.
No, there's nothing wrong because that's what Obama was doing. That guy caused a lot of problems, and the whole part of disrupting and all that stuff is because he was CIA trained from the beginning anyway. You can go to Alex Jones on a Google search and pull up Obama, CIA, and there's an InfoWars article that explains tons of information. And if you took the information and researched it carefully, which is what I always try to tell people, research the information, look into it. But then you get left-wingers that say BS because they just want to be agitators and argue with you, but they have no facts. They don't look into things. They don't really...
John?
They want to force themselves, force their idea, and then you have to fight it back,
Do you know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, I've heard about it for years. I'm not so sure it's believable or not, but it certainly looks like something's going on because, the usual story is a lot of the leaders, presidents, future presidents, some world leaders show up at these things, and they've got this gigantic statue or whatever of an owl. Well, the owl back in the day was a very sacred animal that goes back to Greece, and I've done the research on that. It ties in with Athena, the goddess, and all those things. But they supposedly do all these rituals. There's talk, and I think Alex Jones went in there undercover one time, not to mention a few other people. They took camera, film, and all that stuff. But they supposedly have all kinds of stuff where they have, what you might term adult entertainment, or maybe stuff that might go off in a direction where people go and they're having a party. But what are you going to do? You get a bunch of adults together, they have a little bit of booze or something, maybe they're going to do what they want to do to relax or do whatever they want to do. That's up to them. But the idea is that maybe they're conducting some sort of witchcraft rituals, which is something they've discussed in detail, which is kind of gross, because they're taking male bodily fluids with female bodily fluids and mixing it together and drinking it. And I'm going, well, that can make you sick, not to mention AIDS and a few other things, unless you're getting it from, very young sources. And then they get into that, and they talk about sacrifices. So they're trying to claim that these people are conducting sacrifices, which is Satanistic-type rituals. And I understand what they're saying, because that's what they're getting into and trying to allude to, but so far they haven't had proof. And yet they've got security guards or police outside the Bohemian Grove every time they have a function. So if you're not invited and you park your car and try to walk in, you better have proper ID and be on a list.
Yeah, no kidding.
Although some people actually go in through the woods and sneak in another way.
Yeah.
See, that's how some other people snuck in.
Like Alex Jones.
But exactly. But
Do you know anything about Club 33 at Disneyland?
Say again?
That Club 33 at Disneyland. Do you know anything about that?
What is that? Supposed to be like a
have you ever been on
Freemason thing?
Have you ever been on Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, of course. And
you see all the people eating right there? And you're wondering where that restaurant is?
I've been at the French restaurant right there at the Bay Area, where the little foggy, whatever you want to call it,
there's
swamp.
Somewhere up there.
I've been there.
There's a secret door that's Club 33. I guess.
Oh, okay, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to donate like I don't know what it is, $20,000 a year to be a member of it. But there's video of it and stuff.
It sounds like Freemason stuff that Walt Disney was supposedly involved in.
I know, it's so weird.
33 is a special number in history and the Bible. Freemasons, 33 and a third. Sounds like a record, right? 33 and a third. 33 parallel, 33 is the year that Jesus died. All those connections is 33. So famous people like J. Edgar Hoover was a Freemason, things like that. So you'd have to study the Freemason stuff. But I believe they probably did. They probably had special meetings there because it was a special park. They'll shut it down for Elvis. They did. Elvis paid the money. How much money do you guys earn in a day? Oh, $50,000. I'll pay it. I'll give you $75,000. Close the park down. Have it all to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Would that be cool? You could go and say, "Hey, close the park down. I'm going to have it." But you know what? Close it because other kids want to see it. But I mean, if you picked a day and scheduled it, off hours or something.
Showing up at the gate. Sorry, Elvis rented the whole place. Go home.
Well, you realize Disneyland, very special place for me because I used to go as a kid. I love the Disneyland rides, Peter Pan, all that castle stuff over there. But yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and right next to it, not far from it, is the Haunted Mansion, which is one of my favorites too. But you realize that whole place was built on a special area that they have underground city going on. So if the security people need to go from one end to the other, they don't go on top. They go underground. They're in an underground city of its own. So it's amazing what they've got underground. Yeah. So
that would be so cool.
That ties in with all the secret underground bases nobody wants to talk about, like Dulce, New Mexico, and Denver, Colorado, and these other places, because that's stuff that they don't want out. It's a big secret. They could get into a car in Washington and drive all the way to California if they wanted to underground.
That's what I believe, too. I think there's underground freeways, all sorts of stuff. I think there's so much.
Look at what happens if they have a nuclear event. If they had a nuclear event, the continuation of the government has to succeed. So they have to take all these special people through Congress, the senators, Speaker of the House, Vice President, President, and they have to put them in secret locations and transport them secretly, safely, so that they're not going to get hit or targeted. And they have special locations built underground so they could survive there for years.
There was a guy on a talk show once who saw a truck at one of the military bases, and he flew home, and it was an hour later or something. And it was a 4-hour drive normally, and he saw the same truck an hour later, and he goes, "How did you get here?" And the guy just kind of smiled. He wouldn't say.
Well, all those truck drivers that are helping to build and remove all that underground stuff, like granite, dirt, rock, stuff like that, they have to haul it out somewhere because they're going to take and remove all that ground. So it's I think Jesse Ventura ran into something over in Denver, and they cut him off. They took him off the air because of that. Because of the new development over at the airport.
Hold on.
I'm going to have to go now.
Do you have any questions before you leave, Adam? I've been kind of hogging here.
Go ahead.
If you don't, that's okay too. I just was going to ask before you leave.
I don't have anything on my mind now.
Okay. Okay. Well, have a great night, Adam.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
Come to the dungeon. Come in, Adam.
That's cool. That sounds pretty cool. Sounds like you guys walking right up the hallway, He's left.
Is there anybody in the Discord chat?
Well, you're in the castle, man. Adam just went down to the dungeon with Igor. I don't know what they're going to do down there.
Smoke a bowl.
I think so.
I know they are.
Wolfman, I'm back.
Yeah, brother. All right.
This show's starting to heat up. I could feel it. The energy just shifted.
Oh, yeah?
I feel it.
Ask me a question, I'll tell you a lie, right? No, ask me a question, I tell you the truth.
I have a question for Wolfman.
Okay.
This is Monster Castle Paranormal, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. What and approximately how long is Dirty Rotten Taro also going to come after this particular show we're on right now?
I don't think so, man. I got too many sound problems tonight. It's driving me. It's driving me nuts.
So we're gonna just run this show as long as we want, and that's it.
Yeah, we got an hour left.
Okay, cool.
And then
I'll have my people get a hold of your people, and we'll get we'll get the papers signed, and it'll all be good.
Okay. Depends on I don't know how long are you guys going to be out there in the desert. Are you gone, or is everybody leaving now, or what? Everything will be back tomorrow. What's the schedule there?
It's Friday night. It's going to happen Saturday and Sunday, so it just started.
Okay, well let's cover it. We can cover it tomorrow.
So you can probably call tomorrow night. Are you doing a show tomorrow night? Also?
Yeah, and I'll have everything set up and ready. So yeah,
dude, I'm just like, you don't even know, dude. I'll tell you off the air. John, you need to come up here. You need to seriously just start driving.
No, it's the closest I'm going to get to Clyde.
I'll introduce you personally, and you guys. It'll be awesome.
I don't think an introduction would be necessary.
Okay, yeah.
It'll happen. It'll happen because I'm sitting here going, you know what? I'm not going to let this go by because it would have been nicer if he was in San Diego, like Comic-Con stuff. But,
yeah,
I got to go up there and give him a hug.
Cool.
Yeah, because I talk vitamin supplements and health issues and stuff off the air, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm into weird stuff. So it's like, yeah, I'm so multifaceted, you couldn't.
Okay, I got a quick question for you. Okay, so I'm familiar with, I'm sure you are, the DHEA. You can buy it over the counter, 10 milligrams.
I take it.
I take 25 a day. Is that reasonable?
You can take, I think, 500 milligrams a day.
Oh, my God, really?
Hold on. I'd have to go look in my bathroom, but my bathroom is so filled with bottles all over the shelves, you could.
And then you were saying that you got to take an estrogen blocker if you're going to do the.
Oh, let me tell you. I talked to some people that do the testosterone stuff, and I found out that I might have been poisoned because it's not normal for males to have lower than 200 on the testosterone count. So I tell all my friends, get your testosterone checked because it will affect your major organs if you don't. And people are dying of heart attacks and all kinds of stuff because their iron level's low, their testosterone level's low. So I take a shot every 3 weeks through a doctor, and I found out that if you take estro blocker or whatever you call it, estrogen blocker, once a day, it helps to fight off the stuff that you get that's put in our food.
Okay, gotcha.
See what I mean? So you take a shot and the estrogen blocker too, or you could take the over-the-counter junk that's going to do whatever. But I get the shot, and that's the best at the top of the list. Or you get the androgel that you can spread on your shoulders, whatever, and then you wash your hands off before you touch a female. And you'll notice a difference. But your count, your testosterone count, and I'm not a doctor. There's a disclaimer. You have to get it between 850 to 1100. And if you're not up there in that range, you're going to get left-wing female doctors that want to castrate you and say, oh, but you're getting old. You're 50 years old. You're 40 years old. You're 30 years old, and your testosterone's too low. They're going to kill us off, and that's why we got hybrids running around trying to collect sperm and ovum. I don't want to mention Dulce, New Mexico again. But that's where these experiments come, where they're trying to survive the human race with the hybrids because our testosterone levels are going so low because of the stuff that's in the atmosphere, the toxic chemicals, the pesticides, the estrogen that's in the food when they're injecting stuff into the cows, the meats, the chickens. Russian chicken would come across from Russia, and it looked like turkeys. I mean, they're huge. But all this stuff they're putting hormones, so it depends on your diet. So if you're a Mormon or a vegetarian, Japanese, Buddhist, or some other Amish or whatever, they don't eat foods that are contaminated with the junk that, GMO, RBSTs, and all that junk. Right? So I'm only 64. I just had my birthday last month, so there's guys dying my age.
What's the estrogen blocker called?
God, I can't really walk into the room. It's called Estro Block, Estro Lux, or Estro something. There's a brand. You can Google it. But go on eBay. eBay's the best one for finding good deals. And you just have to know how to look for it, search it, restrict it to the lowest price first, and then free shipping and all that junk. If you hold on a second, I can pull it up off my own purchase list and show you, or tell you what it is. I just got some black cumin seed oil, which is good, because sirens in the background.
What about
They're coming for me, are they? Wolfman, I'm going through back to
I think your people are coming to visit. You got visitors, John, at the door.
Wolfman, I'm going back down to the dungeon.
Yeah, I'm not going to get those kind of visitors. The ones I'm going to get are in the drones.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your latitude? What's your longitude? Over.
I don't know what.
I have you guys. I'll tell you a quick story.
Igor, stop shooting at the cops. Jesus.
Oh, you know what? What's a good one to listen to on Alex Jones sometimes? He tells you about the stuff that he sells. You just get the ingredients from what's in these things. It's got chaga mushroom, and I've got acai berry and Amazon stuff. Oh yeah, you can make your own recipe of pills or supplements. Goji berries. I said acai, pomegranate, morikai. Wait a minute, where is this thing? I'm going to find the name of this Estrolux or whatever you call it and tell you the exact name because you need to hear it. Then you can Google it and find it. There it is. I found it. It's called Estridux. ESTREDUX. Estrogen blocker for men. Libido stamina 60 count. It's like a $15 bottle.
Ah, yes.
And it's 60 pills.
I had tested today.
And they're 1,400 milligrams per pill. That's a humongous amount of milligrams per pill, so that's good. You get 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams, that's good. They'll block estrogen, decrease your fat, boost your libido, and it'll improve your stamina. And if you're not doing it 3 times a day, there's something wrong with you.
Hold on. That's a bold statement. What do you mean?
I just said it. I said it. I'll go on the record. John Carmen says, if you're not doing it 3 times a day, there's something wrong with you.
What do you mean? When you say it, like, is it just completely foolish that we're not?
That's right.
And why?
Well, either you're not taking the time to do it, or you're not horny enough, or your testosterone level's so low, and the estrogen is countermanding that level. So you're contaminated and you don't know it. So I'll tell you what, I'm not here because I choose to be a monk, but I am a monk. And I swear to God, if I get up there tomorrow by noon and I'm surrounded by anything that's female of the human species, I might even dabble into a couple other species on this planet. I won't walk away without trying it. And I could do it at least 3 times in an hour. And
obviously these supplements work, apparently.
Well, hell yeah. And I got people who criticize, oh, John, you take too many supplements. I take 50 pills a day on average, and I'm just taking basic stuff, but I take a little extra stuff that most people don't think about. Like I said, I take this Estridux, estrogen blocker, but I also take other the chaga mushroom. I take acai berry, which is Amazonian stuff. Goji berry, which I've been looking at for years from Tibet, which is wolfberry. And you look at this stuff, and you don't have to go out and get the male stuff. You don't have to go out and buy yohimbe root. And I've tried that. That's something that's pretty dangerous. You can go do a bowl and last for 4 hours. Sativa or something, but that yohimbe root, that's from Africa, that's dangerous. That's so full.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you're taking 50 supplements a day,
right?
And I don't judge that because there was a time I know I was taking at least 20, but that was a long time ago. But I can see 50. However, I'm curious, per month, approximately, what is coming? What would be the cash value if someone's going to buy that amount of supplements?
That's spread out. And I'm also compensating from when I was a kid because all we had was a 1-a-day vitamin, maybe. When I was in sports, we didn't have supplements. We didn't have Gatorade. We didn't have Joe Weider's protein powder and stuff like that. See, I didn't even tell you about the protein powder I've got, and that's only when I feel like doing it, But if you like, this one bottle is $15 free shipping. Okay, $15, 60 capsules, 60 days. Therefore, if you go buy 60, 90, 120 to 250 capsules of a vitamin supplement, you're going to last 3 to 6 months on average. So you may spend a couple $100 in 6 months. $15 to $20 per bottle, $15, $8. You can go to Walmart and get it cheap, or you get it offline, get a better quality. But you got to learn how to shop, or you're going to spend too much money or get the wrong product.
So you're paying at least $300 to $400 a month, though, minimum, right?
No. Spread it out. I'd go less than that, because I would spread it out to 6 months, which means maybe $100 to $150 for 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
That's a fair estimate. And then once a year, you might buy something else that you got saw palmetto or something. My God, there's like 300 capsules. That's one a day. How much for the bottle? Oh, $6-7. You know, that'll last you 6 months to a year. So it depends on what you get. I'll tell you what's really high on the list is astaxanthin, bioastaxanthin from Hawaii. And that's a microalgae in a gel cap. And that's supposed to be the best equivalent of vitamin C and all these other vitamins naturally from an algae that grows in Hawaii that's family grown, and they've got a business. Those bottles are like $24, $25 to $50 a bottle. You can buy astaxanthin on eBay, $15 for a bottle, but it's in dried capsules, powdered. So what do you want?
John, what supplement that you started taking had the biggest effect on you immediately?
Oh wow, that's a good question, because I'm trying to think, because I don't want to begrudge the other ones too, because there's a lot of other good ones. Yeah, it's hard for me to talk. I'm in one room and all my pills are in the bathroom, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There was only a couple of them.
Actually, you gave me the list. I have it in my email.
I have a list. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you emailed it to me. I actually have it here somewhere.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can pull it up faster. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah, and actually what I want to ask you about is the JFK assassination, if you know anything about that.
Yeah, I know about stuff like that. I'll give you a rundown verbally. I take Hawaiian astaxanthin, selenium, zinc, uva ursi, that's for the kidneys, hemp seed oil extract, there's no THC in that, L-carnitine, Estrodux, the estrogen blocker, manganese, cinnamon, raw pancreas, dried deer penis, that's a Steven Seagal joke, B12, iron, turmeric is good, very big, turmeric, take 1,500 milligrams twice a day. L-tyrosine, moringa, that's like a vitamin C thing. Pomegranate's good. That's biblical. Pomegranates and pine cone seeds. That's research I've done. Niacin, DHEA, 500 milligrams per day. Shiitake mushroom, reishi, which is the red mushroom. Chaga mushroom, black cherry extract, which is for your bones and arthritis. Ginkgo biloba for your memory. Grapeseed extract is a powerful antioxidant. Calcium, magnesium, zinc, it's a combination thing. That's 2,000 milligrams. Saw palmetto, spirulina, that's your algae and stuff. Antioxidants, probiotics, that's important. CQ10, green tea. Liver, antioxidant pills, that's milk thistle. D3, that's your vitamin D from the sun. Potassium, pomegranate. Did I say pomegranate? I did. Cranberry, Super CLA, I can't remember what that is. EDTA, that's another new one. And Sugar Balance, Herbal Start. And I did put something about cannabis because I'm studying that as well. Because CBD oil is a healing part of the cannabis plant, and then the THC is the other half. Do both. You know, don't get hung up on getting.
Yeah, you got to get a mix. You got to get a good mix.
That's right. It's got to have. Back in the day, years ago, they didn't have as much THC. Nowadays, I hear they've got like 23% or maybe more versus what they had back then. But it depends on where you got it, I guess. And in the United States and California, they sell like $10 a gram. It's time to get it on the NASDAQ. You know, invest $1,000, they say, and get $1 million a year later. Hey, I'd do it. You know, but that's just a partial list. I didn't put all the ginsengs or the Korean or the Japanese or the other stuff. You know, And whatever you do, don't get that Yohimbe. It's dangerous. I swear to God, if you take some, have a friend with you. Make sure she's really athletic.
I think that's a Viagra.
Oh my God! Is it like Viagra times 100? Make your dick blow right
4 hours. 4 hours. I swear to God. It won't go down. Help! It won't go down. No, jump on it. Do something. Eat it. It won't go down.
How many people do you think ever have gone back into the doctor? If your erection lasts longer than 4 hours, see a doctor. Hi, doc.
Oh no! It's natural. That's natural. But that's just if you're stimulated a certain way where they claim Viagra opens up all these things. I go, nah, that's bullshit. It's stimulating something in your system that you're not normally getting. See, we don't get our proper nutrients. I could live off water and the stupid nutrients I just listed to you, and I'm not hungry. And that would affect all kinds of things, and I'm healthy. Problem is, I'm trying to lose weight because I'm a little overweight. I got a gut thing, but that's just because the damage I went through. But the thing is, if you have the proper nutrients, you don't have the same reaction. So if you're a vegetarian over eating meat, I don't eat much red meat anymore. Chicken, fish, once in a while, I want a taco. But it's not like you're out eating meat like all the other meat eaters. But, maybe if you're in the mountains like Jeremiah Johnson, you're going to go after a little venison once in a while. But you got to eat more green stuff close to the ground. That's what the Buddhist thing is in Japan. Eat close to the ground. That's a macrobiotic diet. Those guys are healthy, and they don't eat a bunch of iodine, which is your soy products and your seaweed iodine and your fish that gets mixed in, where they're getting pancreatic cancer all the time. In fact, they're pointing out, what is it, that special stuff that they were giving the oyster shell calcium supplement up in Okinawa, north of Japan. And that's because of the stuff that's in the shell. And they would eat off of the ground what they would grow in the ground, and it was permeated with the special calcium stuff, and you would eat it as a supplement. These people lived to be 90 years old on average. So they must be doing something right.
Hey, Wolfman.
Yeah.
The Jewish producer and One Angry Jew are not the same person.
I don't really know.
Yeah, the Jewish producer's name's Joe. And he's not the same person as the One Angry Jew.
Join the chat. Join the voice chat and come on with us.
Yeah. I don't know if he's listening or not. He's in the chat though. Anyways, did you want to ask about JFK still?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know other whistleblowers. There's a guy named Robert Tosh Plum Lee. You might want to get on the air sometime. I was on the air with him with John B. Wells a few years back before they pulled John B. Wells off the Coast to Coast show. They pulled him off because of the information. Something happened.
Hey,
that was the night where they extended the hour because the time difference thing.
What's that? What did you say that African herb is called again?
Oh, Yohimbe.
Oh yeah. Does it kind
Yohimbe root? It's a bark.
Does it kind of make you go like this?
It off.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
You got the
Hey, I tried it out when I was driving up to LA to do a lecture near the airport.
We need the other sound first.
And I already worked the midnight shift, so I took these 2 pills, and I figured, I'm going to see if it reacts or not. And I had a whole bottle of this stuff. I was going to really get into that, So I drove up there, and I got halfway there, and I said, damn, I'm not getting a reaction. I've already been on the road an hour, and I'm almost there. So I took 2 more pills. So I took a total of 4 pills, and they're like 250 to 400 or 500 milligrams a piece, I think. I'm thinking 250, but right around there. So by the time I got there, parked my car, checked and I went to the public room at the hotel, and I was washing my face off because I was a little bloodshot because I worked all night, and then went upstairs, go get cleaned up, and take a nap or something because the lecture thing was later. And by the time I went to bed, I was like, I couldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
I was having a problem. I couldn't roll over. I couldn't roll over all the way. You know, there was a tent.
Did you have an erection for your entire lecture?
No, I've heard of people that had that. But that's like nerve damage or something, right? 4 hours, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I finally got my jingle board ready. It was almost too late.
I pulled up a picture of April a while ago on the site.
Oh, yeah.
You have some. The guests are listed there. So I go, I didn't know I was on there. So I pulled it up and I said, I'm there too. You don't have my picture, but that's okay. I've got enough death threats anyway.
She's hideous looking, isn't she?
She looks kind of like a witch, kind of.
She's so awesome. She's got a great voice, great mind, and she's beautiful.
Yeah. Is that the one, Elizabeth April? Right.
That is the one. The one and only.
She kind of reminds me of an Indian. She has a little bit of Indian in her. In fact, she does have a headband, and she's got feathers dangling from her hair, so she may have some Indian or not.
I'm not sure, though. I've never asked her that.
Interesting eyebrow. But she's the one that was giving me a reading, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, she's...
Okay. Yep, that's her.
Quite incredible.
And she knows. You guys have no idea how accurate she was when she said I was surrounded by guardian angels.
She was on fire that day.
Really?
She really was.
Yeah, she did a pretty good job that day.
That was a special show.
Except for the one reading where she said the person's husband was going to get better, and then she was on the other show, on Eric's show, and the lady called back to his show and said, "Oh my God, you were so wrong. My husband died."
Oh,
that was awful.
Yeah, and one reading was quite off. But in the other way, maybe he is better being. Maybe he's going through a lot of pain, and that was the better way out.
That's the other interpretation. I was thinking the same thing. Is you don't know the wisdom and the stuff that goes behind all this stuff, because a lot of people have had these after death experiences, and I've listened to hundreds of interviews. I just heard one recently, just tonight, as a matter of fact, and they don't want to go back. They love it up there or out there. They want to go to the light and experience heaven and good feelings and pleasure, or just absence of pain and all these other things. So it's like, no, it's okay. But we don't understand that, because dying, suffering, and separation and all that kind of gets into it, you know. I've seen something. I don't know if I told you this, but after my mom died a few years back, just in the last year and a half, I saw something at 3 a.m. Totally dark. I live in an apartment. I woke up and I looked up at the ceiling. I mean, I literally sat up because I was awake for some reason. I didn't know why. And I looked up there, and there was a plasma cloud, multicolored thing floating at the ceiling in the upper left-hand corner. I go, wait a minute, there's no other light. My computer's off, my cell phone's off, everything's off, and this thing is like there, and I had such a good feeling, you wouldn't believe it. It was
was it your mom?
I trusted it. I don't know. It could have been many things.
That's cool, man.
I didn't know, because I knew several people that are dead, so I kind of keep mental track of people in the past that are still around, but I had such a good feeling, you cannot compare it. In other words, normally a kid would wake up and be scared or something, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good idea.
I was not afraid. I'm not afraid of stuff like that, but look at my background. Maybe it takes something really weird to scare me, but if an alien dropped out of the sky and landed on my patio right now, I'd invite it in for water or something.
Hey, I've been seeing these weird things at work all the time in the parking lot when I'm on break. And they look like fairies, I swear. They're like little fairies flying around this. About the size of a bat, but they're white. I thought it was bats, but they're white. And they're not shaped like a bat, but they're fluttering around, and they're like tall, like a person standing up, like as if it was a little tiny humanoid with wings. Yeah, exactly, a little tiny humanoid with wings.
I've seen those. I've seen pictures.
And they're flying around this one light all the time at work, and I keep seeing them, and I try to take a picture and zoom in, but I haven't been able to get a good one yet, but I will yet. I'll get a better camera or something to take with me, because I swear it's fairies. Some kind of fairy creatures, like humanoids with wings, little tiny, maybe about 6 inches to a foot.
That's big.
Yeah, no, they're not small. That's what I mean.
That's not normal.
It's not an insect. It is not an insect, and it's not a bird, and it's not a bat, because it flies at night. It's only at night.
Well, wait a minute. Do you guys get fireflies in your area?
Yeah, but this is way too big for fireflies.
No,
not blinking, but I do get them. Yeah,
because you only see fireflies like in southern states of the United States, like Texas, Alabama.
Oh, we get them here.
Humid, moist areas, or like in Ireland and certain parts of England and stuff. But
I've got some stories about fireflies, man. Holy shit!
You don't have a tennis racket, do you?
Not right here. No, why?
You can go whack one down.
Why would I kill them? I love those things. Not all of those fireflies are really fireflies. That's what came up to me and turned into a...
Listen. When I used to live in Texas, we had a trick because we could hear bats flying. You could hear them clicking. All you have to do is go out and listen, and they're flying around, and you can hear them. I hope you heard that, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the noise they make. That's their sonar. So what we would do is take a sock. Nylon's better, but you can take a sock and throw it up in the air, and they'll attach themselves to it, attacking it, thinking it's a butterfly or something. And they'll get stuck in it, and they'll fall to the ground. Now, they won't really hurt themselves, but then you wear gloves, and you can pick them up and spread their wings and look at them and play with them a little bit and then let them go. But you still have to kind of pull their claws out of the sock, you know.
That's cool. We tried to catch one when we were little with the fishing pole, but they were too smart.
Fishing net?
we were just little kids, and we had like a fly on the end of a fishing line, and they would shoot down at it. But it's probably good we never hooked one.
Well, that's interesting stuff, because if you really follow the legend, it's like the pot of gold and the leprechaun stuff. Yeah, they've got fairies. They've got that stuff. I mean, if you look at the legends in certain areas, they've got stuff that is built into the rock. And I'm trying to remember the exact terms and everything. But I researched this, and there was an actual YouTube about it where these people experienced, it was either in Scotland or Ireland or one of those European countries where they had them, and there was a certain area where the rocks would become activated somehow, and these things or these beings would come out, kind of like an interdimensional thing. There was like a little porthole that they could come in and out of, but you couldn't travel with them unless you came in at the same time they did. In other words, the door had to be open. But the problem is, if you went in there with them, there's no guarantee you might come out. And they've had a few kids that went missing. So I don't know. But it ties in. Yeah, did they see fairies? Yeah, there's all kinds. There's pixies, there's fairies, I don't know, how many different types are there? Pixies, fairies. I mean, what's Tinkerbell?
Wolfman, do you have any mental connection with them?
On the show, you want to talk as a special expert?
And you know what's funny?
Hey, you want to talk for a few minutes, Wolfman?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Wolfman.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Carmen, we got the Reverend John Polk. Can he just say hello and maybe chat with us?
Yeah. Come on for a second. We got so much going on. I haven't even done any commercials or played a song tonight, man. I did
you don't need no fucking commercials.
No, don't need no fucking commercials.
Anyway, okay, John doesn't talk like that. Okay, here's Mr. Polk.
All right.
Woof.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
All right. I thought it was me for a second. Can you do impression of me?
When I talk like the Wolfman, yeah, can you do it?
When I talk like a Wolfman, can I do it? Yeah, maybe I can.
Yeah, buddy. That was pretty good.
An impression of John doing the Wolfman doing the Wolfman.
So we're out here contacting the desert, and guess what? We made total contact.
Beautiful.
So get this. We come back to the place, to the house to get his goggles, and we forget. Or we don't forget, Eric forgets. So we drive back and we realize, we fed the cat. You know, Eric brought his cat. We didn't sleep last night because the damn cat all night long. Anyway, so then we have to come back to the house and get the goggles.
Did you bring a laser?
And so when we get back to the parking lot and out in the middle of the desert, whatever, he loses his key. And we're looking for it for like 20 minutes. It was a high-stress situation. We were going to go to the night watch thing to go look for UFOs. But because he couldn't find his key, we missed it. So now it's an even higher stress situation. And, you know, he's my best friend, one of my best friends, and I felt like we wanted to fight with each other because we couldn't find the key, frustration levels busting through the roof. And I'm like, all right, let's just slow down and wasabi and summon the gods to help us find the key. And when I did that, we found the key in 2 minutes. So then we walk over to the amphitheater where James Gilliland, who has his own ranch up in Washington State, where he guarantees you'll see UFOs if you go to the ranch and camp out in tents and stuff. Wow. He was teaching people how to summon UFOs. And while we're listening to this, there was a group of at least 15 to 30 of us that saw anywhere from 2 to 7 UFOs right then and there. And Eric caught it through his night vision goggles, and most of us caught it without night vision goggles tonight, like just a couple hours ago, and it was incredible.
That's critical information.
It is.
What you just said, because people don't understand that some of these UFOs travel so fast they travel between light frames on a camera.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we saw, imagine a straight line going from left to right across your peripheral from left to right. And in the middle of that whole sequence, it did a loop-to-loop. So go from left to right across your vision instead of up and down across your vision. And right in the middle, it does a loop-to-loop and kept going straight. And that's what we all saw. And there was probably, 10 to 12 or more people that saw it at the same time. And Eric had the night vision goggles, and I did not, and all these other people, we saw the same thing. And then we saw even more after that. And here's the trippy part. I was just telling Eric, is that a lot of people saw UFOs after that we did not see through the night vision goggles. Imagine that. You know, there's a group of them going, look, and they're pointing, so I'm looking over there. I didn't even see what they were talking about. And they saw stuff I did not see when I had the night vision goggles, because Eric had just given them to me. It was we went through a big flap in, maybe a 5-minute, 6-minute time period. It's a total trip, man. Anyway, it was one of the best UFO experiences I ever had in my life.
Do you guys have any laser lights over there?
And, I'm glad you brought that up. There was this really attractive younger girl that had this green laser, and she's shooting it up at the area that we're looking at, and we didn't get any return or response out of it. Or maybe we did, but when she did it, we were expecting or hoping for a light coming back down.
Now, you usually do, but I'll tell you something. You ask Ronnie Ronnie Dawson about that. He didn't have such a good experience when he shot a laser up at the thing. They came down looking for him, and they were not friendly.
Oh, really? All right. Exercise.
What color was it, though? That's the difference.
I don't know.
The
Mostly,
laser or the UFO?
But you got to figure that you're probably right. The color has something to do with it because the vibration.
Red, green, or blue.
Now, wait a minute. Are you talking about the color of the laser or the UFO?
Yes, the laser.
No,
laser.
Okay.
It can be interpreted as colors, like in Gangland, you wear the wrong beanie color, you can get beat up.
Okay, so Ronnie was shining a red laser up, and he had these goblin-like creatures attack him in his bed.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah,
I believe it.
I'm experimenting with laser lights myself. I've got a blue one, and I also ordered I also have a UV light, which I activate some ultra-sensitive stuff. And let's see, this one is like a blue. Oops. Yeah, that one's blue. But that one, you can't see the trail. When you activate a light, usually you see the actual trail, the dust trail, or whatever you want to call it.
Right,
this one,
you do.
the blue one is like a blue UV laser, but you can't see it. So it's like it shows up at the other end, but you can't really see it unless it's totally smoky or dusty or something, I guess. But that thing, it'll activate. It's a special color. But I also got a UV light, which is like invisible. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I didn't mean UV, I meant infrared. I get them mixed up sometimes. Infrared is like you turn it on, and if they've got a laser infrared beam, I won't mention security back in DC or nothing, but if you trip that beam, it's going to set off an alarm. So these UV or ultraviolet and or IR, infrared, I should say, you can see things that you're not supposed to be seeing. That's why I said something about some of these UFOs travel so fast, you have to have the high-speed film that's like 1 million parts per second or whatever it is per frame stuff. It's so fast that they're traveling in between the light that you and I see human light. It's crazy.
You know what I've learned to do a number of years ago, about 3 years ago, I started to learn how to look into and be able to see within infrared and ultraviolet like spectrums by traversing my body, mind, spirit, so that I can see space-time vehicle that are masking themselves in plain sight within different light spectrums that we just cannot see with the naked human eye. And I've been learning how to do it. And so there's this lady that I used to work with a lot named Lynn Hartram that works for Dr. Edgar Mitchell's Free Foundation, the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters. And I remember telling her, hey, I'm learning how to do this now. And I saw something the other night, and it was this red point of light, and I followed it for 8 hours, and it just in the same spot in the sky for 8 hours. If it was, a meteor, if it was a satellite, if it was a planet, it would have moved after 8 hours, it stayed in the same spot, and then at one point it just vanished. And I told her about this, that I was figuring out how to look into these infrared and ultraviolet light spectrums and see UFOs cloaking themselves, hiding in plain sight. And she said, it's funny you say that because I bought an infrared camera and took a picture of a red orb. And the exact picture that she sent to me via email was exactly what I saw. And she saw what she saw in Massachusetts, and I saw what I saw in Orlando, Florida. So that was a trippy story.
John, you got to give us an update tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got what's his name, Brett. Brett. Let me look at my calendar. I'm trying to add Yuck Nasty to the call. I don't know if he's there. Yuck, are you there? Okay, because I thought he might have some questions. Yeah, tomorrow it's Karen. I can't read the last name. Isn't it Brett Collins? His
Oh
Wait, Brett Shepard?
Yeah, Brett Shepard.
Is it?
Yeah.
You realize in my Blue Beings book about the Blue Beings at the UFO conference that he authored an article and that his girlfriend / research partner, Karen Christine Patrick.
That's who's on my show tomorrow. That's it.
Is the editor of both of my books, Yahweh, the Biblical God is an Alien, and the Blue Beings Visitation at the UFO Conference.
I didn't know that. I had no idea, man. Had no idea.
No, I've known them since 2014, and we're all Anunnaki research partners, and they've helped me author and co-author my books, and donated articles to all my books, and done artistry on my books, and anyway, we work on internet radio together. We have since 2014, so they're definitely partners in this whole game with me. And same with Dr. Sasha and Janet Lesson, who are presenting at Contact in the Desert, actually this whole weekend. So
we had lunch with them.
Yeah, we had lunch with them. It's been good, man.
She scolded us.
Yeah, she scolded us over. Let's not talk about that.
Okay, we won't go there.
She didn't mention she was going to be on my show tomorrow. Maybe she forgot. I better email her.
Reminder.
Here, let me give it back to Eric.
No.
I got 4%. We'll give it back to John. There's only 4% on my battery.
Tell John thank you for coming on and giving us the report.
Okay.
Thank him for me.
We'll be at Contact all weekend if you want us to chime in again.
Yeah, tomorrow for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna probably.
I'm sure you have more shows. So,
dude, I'm gonna tomorrow after I fix my sound problems. I'll probably be broadcasting all day long, and I might just cover the whole day. Come in and out, maybe play a couple reruns, but
Eric said Skype him.
Yeah,
just Skype me, and then I'll make it happen. I mean. The thing is, the batteries get sucked dry fast up here. It's weird. I'm not kidding you.
And there's no.
So tell John.
There's an energy vortex here. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's bizarre, dude. I'm constantly running to my car to charge my batteries, and I don't even do nothing. It's like it sucks energy.
Get one of those chargers, Eric.
Tell John that I have a 24/7 station now. So if you want to put
you know what Eric was telling me, and I'm like, me and Spaceboy and the gang, we need to get on that platform and do what you're doing, because it makes total obvious sense to stream live 24/7.
Yeah, I figured out how to do it. Well, I have some few kinks to work out tonight. I had to shut it down, but it's something I did wrong with the way I uploaded.
Teach us what to do, man.
How he gets away with using the word Spreaker.
Yeah, I don't really know if I can or not. I break a lot of rules.
you're just testing the waters right now.
Well,
it's a hot tub, and you put your toe in there. You just see what it's like.
I'll tell you how I get away with it, because it says anyone who belongs to Spreaker, it says right in your contract that they like it when you advertise for them, and you will be rewarded. So by doing that, I'm advertising for them,
dude.
And I will be rewarded.
You got my tweet. That was since I've known you, that was the most brilliant thing you've done so far, and I mean that from my heart. It was fucking brilliant, dude. Dude, God bless you.
Yeah.
Roll with it, brother. Roll with it.
I'm gonna do it.
Language in the contract seems to support what you're doing anyway, because they told you to support them by using their names.
That's exactly right. So that's what I'm doing.
Anyway, right?
Okay, hey, just so you know, I have 1%, so we might lose you. So. You guys let Darren and you guys will talk to John, but thank you very much. It was awesome to hang out with you guys tonight.
All right, well, thanks for chiming in, and we'll be getting in touch with you tomorrow, and hopefully we can cover the conference more. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, definitely. Okay, brother, have a good night. Thanks, John.
Hey,
thanks, Darren. All right, good night.
All right, good night, guys. And don't run around in your underwear, because that's how you'll get abducted again.
What underwear?
Everyone I know who's got abducted, they were in their underwear.
So that's why I don't get abducted.
Oh, you don't wear underwear. I get it.
We'll flow on the uptake there.
All right. This was a crazy show tonight, eh? And I almost wasn't going to do one.
Hey, you know what? That works out that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's been a good one.
I forgot all about those guys up north of me, and I was going, that it tied in perfect, so that's good too.
Well, the guys we're smart that were in our Bouncy Castle voice channel because they didn't want to be on the air all the time, so they all went to Voices of Gods so they can talk about us and make fun of us while we're on the air. It's pretty smart.
You know what? You should have somebody up there, if not me or Eric or somebody should be transmitting. You should do a live show tomorrow or Sunday.
Oh, I'm gonna.
From Joshua Tree.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. That's where they are. They're at Joshua Tree. So we just exactly. We're gonna.
Oh, well, I'm seriously thinking I might drive up there. I don't have anything going on tomorrow. I just might drive up there.
You got a portable Skype on your phone, then you can cover it for us. You could be on the spot reporter like Eric.
Well, I have a cell phone, but
actually, yeah, that'll work because I got the call-in number anyway.
Let's do an extended show.
My problem is I have to bring my attachment to charge from the car, but I can probably do it.
Yeah. Okay. Or a lot of people have those portable power packs. That might work.
Oh yeah, I have one of those too. It's solar powered.
Oh wow.
Well, I've got a solar powered trickle charger in my car for my battery. I got a solar powered pocket pack that you have to hook up. I haven't used it, but it's supposed to be able to work to the cell phone. But I didn't really think about it. But I've got a connector. It's in my car. I'd have to hook up to the cigarette lighter.
Right on.
Well, shoot, man, I'm going to go.
Yeah, and actually, I think the other person that's on with us tomorrow, Karen is there too. So our guest is gonna be at Contact in the Desert tomorrow too. Wow!
You gotta go, John.
It's all about Contact in the Desert.
Yeah, I should. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to wear because it's going to be kind of hot or warm. So it's going to be shorts and t-shirt type stuff,
Take some of those roots and wear some tight shorts.
How's that?
Take some of those African roots and get some really tight, like, basketball shorts.
Well, I've already got sunburn from yesterday. I was out in the sun 3 hours and I forgot and I bought some suntan lotion today, day late, but I started wearing shorts 2 weeks ago because the weather changed.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah, you got to have the tank top, you got to have sunscreen and all that. So I'm prepared. I got the water.
I'm going to do casual. Everyone.
Hey, you know what? I need you guys to send me Eric's phone number or text it to me on my cell phone so I could contact him when I get up there because I don't have his number.
Gotcha.
I've already connected to him on the Skype.
I've got everything yet. Or you can,
Yeah, we'll give you everything.
Actually, you can also just message him.
Well, I did, but he's
Skype.
not on his computer or whatever.
I'll give you his phone number. Don't worry.
His phone died.
Can you text it to me and I'll just save it or
email
it? One or the other.
Chat. Or not the Spreaker chat, the Skype chat.
Yeah, or you know what you do is go on his Twitter. It's @AwakeningMan.
I already sent
always
it.
on
I
there.
already sent that, but he couldn't access to it because of what he was using, I guess, at the time. So.
Oh, yeah, because his phone's dead. But he'll be back in there.
I was trying to think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always got some way. But, yeah, well, I'll send it to you. I just have to look it up on my phone, and then I got your number on my phone, too, I think.
You better.
Yeah, I got it here somewhere.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember where it is. I have it in your email, too. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds
it's
good.
right there on the screen, too. Yeah.
Going up there. Maybe I'll get lucky, too.
Packs and numbers, baby.
Yuck! How you doing, brother? Yuck, nasty.
Hey, what's going on, Wolfie? What's going on, motherfucker? I'll give you some pussy out in the desert, baby.
Yuck Nasty, everybody. Give a good warm welcome for Yuck Nasty.
All right. Got to show up when there's 20 minutes left. What's going on in the desert?
UFOs and shit.
Like in the desert, like New Mexico.
No, upper desert.
Specifically.
Palm Springs, Joshua Tree.
Oh, Joshua Tree? And you're going to be there tomorrow?
Yeah, that's where it's at.
Man, I hope you see some titties at least, brother. If not some UFOs, some motherfucking areolas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you were saying about getting lucky, right?
Exactly.
Attaboy. Sorry, just wanted to chime in.
Well, if aliens are there, you know, we have to mix with the aliens too sometimes.
Yeah, they spread their seed onto us. You got to spread it back.
Exactly. I don't think I've heard of anybody who said they've had an experience with the other species yet. It's usually Whitley Strieber doing the other thing. That's too gay. Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Joshua Tree National Park. Straight up 15 and hang a right at Palm Springs.
I don't have you in my Skype yet, John.
What's that?
I don't think we're friends in Skype yet.
Oh.
I'm
send your request to John Drake MI6.
Okay.
Secret agent,
No space,
man.
all together. John, or I do the capital J and the capital D for Drake, and then capital MI6. But John Drake MI6 all together. That should work.
This PC search monks. All right. I've got a really good, where is it? Aha! Here it is. Oh, yeah, you're going to love this. I got a song for you, John. It's your theme song that I picked out for you.
Oh, Danger Man?
It's kind of like that.
Or Secret Agent Man, one of the two?
It's kind of like that. Here we go. 4 minutes left, so I'm going to roll it. All right. Secret Agent Man. No, it's actually Skylab by the Monks. But it sounds like Secret Agent Man, kind of, you know. It's cooler. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on, John.
That's good music. I love it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good. Almost sounds like surfer music.
Yeah. And it's got spacey sounds in it.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, man. Well, I'm going to sign off. Good talking to you. Let's do it again.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Thanks,
For
John.
sure. We got to keep in
I found
touch,
you there.
man.
Just accept my friend request.
I'm fast.
Okay. Yuck. What are we doing next, buddy?
Oh, we gonna fuck around. Yeah, we're gonna be right back. That's right.
Yeah, should we? Now that you're here, I don't know if I could resist doing some prank calls or some shit.
Oh man, I'm live on YouTube and everything already with us.
Oh man. I'll just have to reboot this and put it over to Dirty Rotten Taro.
Yeah.
Alright, so listen to us on Spreaker.com or tune in radio at Monster Castle Paranormal. Just, yeah. Or follow me on Twitter, WolfmanMike47. Also, that's the Skype name if you're calling in. Call in at 775-990-8447 on Dirty Rotten Taro for abuse and psychic readings and tarot readings that will probably warp your mind. Music by Shylock and Relic, Adam Shadow, and the Monster Rock Band. All material on this show cannot be distributed or sold without written permission from Igor.
That's right, Wolfman. You have to answer to me.
Alright, well, join us for our next show on Dirty Rotten Taro on the same Spreaker network. I'm not on my 24/7 right now. It'll return tomorrow. Due to technical problems. Anybody else want something to say before it's gone? 47 seconds.
Man, we love you guys. Wolfman loves you guys. Yuck Nancy loves you too.
Good show. Good show, guys.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, me too.
I almost didn't.
I hope my sound is okay.
Oh yeah, well, it's not as good as Skype, but yeah, we tried it out, something to try.
Yeah, I'll re-listen to how it sounds. A shout out to Stabby for setting this Discord chat up.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Take me to your leader.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
This is where the real freaks hang out, alright, yeah.
right, we're on the air. We're back. We're back. I'm just waking up, and I'm nursing a beer, and hope everyone else is not hungover like me. That was a late night. Okay. And shout out to Mark Hanapepe and I can't pronounce, what is this? Mrs. of Foxgiven. Something like that. In the Spreaker chat room. All right. Everybody go to the Spreaker chat room. Go to Spreaker.com. Find Monster Castle Paranormal. Click on it. Click on the show that says live. And if you're online, you just go to comments down below and you are in the chat room. So, how's it going today, Darren? You're up.
It's going pretty good. Just woke up.
You just woke up? Are you hungover too?
I'm not hungover.
You missed church, didn't you?
I'm a little groggy.
Groggy, yeah.
I didn't have a chance to get any coffee yet here.
Oh, okay, that's Rachel in the chat room. That's wild. Okay. Today, this afternoon, we're going to cover some wide variety of topics. And I don't know if you have any news, Darren?
No.
Nah, I didn't get any news ready, but we could just bring the guest on right now, and it's Joseph Moore. Are you there, Joe?
I am. Hello,
All right.
everyone. How are you guys? How you doing, Mike? Darren?
Excellent. Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
I was just thinking.
Thank you for having me back on.
I'm thinking instead of covering the news, maybe we could just discuss what's going on down in Syria for a minute again. Have any you guys heard anything new developments?
I just saw on CNN. I have my TV muted in the living room. Our TV. Well, something else right now. But apparently, I guess ISIS. Well, they believe it to be ISIS. You know how it is. A lot of disgruntled people claim to be with ISIS, or they just take credit for it. But anyway, lone wolf or inspired attacks, as they call it. I guess on some United States military base. I think it said, I forgot where it was. I'm not sure if it was Egypt or somewhere in the Middle East. But the military repelled the attack. But it's not like an old-fashioned troops are on the way, they're advancing onto your citadel, and it's just, a lot of these people, they're just inspired. I don't see it as I'm trying to say this in such a way where it doesn't sound like I'm mitigating the situation. I don't see it the same as the old-fashioned way, like I said, of armies attacking you. It is terrible what happened. But keeping things in perspective, when they're inspired, someone could just...
Hello?
It's okay, you can tell us.
I don't know what happened there. Did you drop?
Uh-oh.
United States.
Yeah.
And you know how if anybody who's well aware of the United States, we're, with all due respect, and nothing against my fellow Americans, but we're pretty violent. Something like 26 to 30,000 people die each year of gun-related deaths. Now, on average, each year. And I can't remember for sure the statistics that, like, some of it's accidental, but most of it is violence. That's every year. But where's about that? And of course, I'm not going to get too political here about gun control or whatever. But that, when a few people are killed by someone who's Muslim and who's a radical, regardless of what political affiliation, just for the fact that they're Muslim and of course kill somebody, you should never do that. But they'll focus on like a few, people who are killed by some radical person who's of Muslim faith. But then they don't pay attention to Americans we killing ourselves on something between 20 to close to 30,000 people each year in the United States via handguns. In the state of, I'm calling from Lincoln, Nebraska. In Nebraska, there's a lot of towns that are not even that size.
Yeah, and I don't know, do you guys carry guns?
I do not, but I do believe in self-defense, but I do not have a gun.
What about you, Darren? Do you carry a gun?
I do not carry a gun. Well, no, I don't carry a gun. I have guns. Someone comes into my house.
Oh, right on.
I have all my.
What about
father's
yourself,
guns.
Mike?
In Canada here,
Well,
I
I'm
cannot
sorry.
divulge that information out because
Okay,
we
gotcha.
have too much regulations against that for me to,
Oh, okay, I
to
didn't
bother
know that.
saying
Sorry. I'm
any
sorry.
even an answer
Sorry
to
for
that.
asking.
I can tell you this much: had
We're not allowed.
Had I been carrying a gun once in my life, I would have used it, and I'm glad I didn't. So that's why I don't carry. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm a Democrat. I am a socialist. I'm not a liberal. I'm further to the left than that. But a lot of people, especially in the United States, they make the assumption that if you're liberal or to the left like I am, that we're just all hippies and we're pacifists and yada yada. I was raised this, but
He dropped again. Right on. We got a shout out to Dennis and Joe in the Spreaker chat room. And shout out
Angry
to
Bomb or Joe
KTLK
Roop?
Network, the Fringe.fm, which we are on right now. Yeah. And, okay, yeah, about guns in Canada, yeah, it's really regulated here. It's crazy. So they make it pretty
can
hard.
I ask you about how many deaths from guns-related incidents do you know each year?
Oh, my God. Well, if you're looking at Toronto, it's like almost every day. You know, but the rest of Canada, like except for the big cities, you don't really hear much about it.
Chicago or New York City.
It's usually some other weapon that people have. Like we had a standoff just down the street here last week, and there was an armed standoff, and they actually had to evacuate this low rental area and evacuate everyone else out. And they brought someone out on a stretcher. I haven't heard anything else since what happened there. If it was gun related or it was a stabbing, I don't know.
But I mean, it doesn't sound like it happens that often nationwide.
Well, it's strange, though.
Now,
I never saw anything about it in the news. The only thing I know is because people in my neighborhood told me that the place was evacuated and there was some kind of armed standoff. And I saw a news vehicle there, but I still haven't, like CTV News was there. But I still haven't heard anything about it on the news.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know, let's be honest about it. Had the person been Muslim, had the person been, you know, certain ethnicity, I'm sure you would have heard something about it. Let's just be real about this. You know, it seems like people don't, like I said a few minutes ago in the United States, and when people kill each other every day, whether it's black on black, white on white, or, you know, when it's interracial, as in, you know, a black person kills a white person or vice versa, then it's a big topic. But still, the biggest topic when it comes down to murder, regardless of, you know, it's political or just everyday, when the person is a Muslim, then it's a big situation. That's the only thing that they focus on. So that may have been the situation because it's considered an everyday thing. So what's the big deal? You know, you people who die at the hands of some, you know, a Muslim of whatever stripe, then it's automatically terrorism.
Oh yeah,
and, you know,
for sure.
I'm sorry, but that's what I've noticed here in the United States. It's like there are certain things I read about or hear about, you know, online. Like several people are killed by some, and it's like more people are killed. You know, it could be some kind of family situation or somebody just flipped out for no political reasons and just killed like 6 people, and you hear nothing about it. And you know, like CNN, or I don't watch Fox News or read it online. I stay away from right-wing media. But you hear nothing about it because they're not Muslim. It's not, you know, it's not dealing with the Middle East. It's just like local news, like, oh yeah.
It's just boring. Just somebody getting shot, you know. This Joe Blow shot this guy over there for some crack, and who cares? He's dead, right?
Right. And it's not just the race thing, and just in general, it could be 2 white white people kill each other, and it's hardly ever covered. But again, as soon as you put in Muslim, oh boy, it's incredible. But anyway, I'm trying not to, you know, I don't want to be negative. So.
Well, it's not negative. It's realist. It's realism.
I meant like, you know, me getting worked up and getting, angry. That's more of what I mean.
Oh, that's okay. You can get worked up here.
That's it.
Trust me. I can get really...
We have Russian
I know
solution.
I'm a geek and I laugh a lot and stuff, but trust me, I have a temper.
Did you talk about
and
KGB?
I do not want to display it.
You were not talking about KGB, were you? You were not.
No.
Do not talk about KGB. All right, you cannot talk about KGB or Russia. I am sorry. It's
Well,
okay. You can bash.
We certainly have KGB somewhere in the White House, don't we?
We have people in White House and also in Black House too. Black House and the White House. White and black, both houses.
So, what are you, Joseph? What are your feelings about what's going on with with Syria right now?
Okay, and I had tweeted about this quite a bit. Well, I think it's kind of expected, to be honest with you. Well, it's no coincidence. It's not like Democrats have not done the similar things, because Bill Clinton, he did that with as you remember, the situation with the Balkans, former Yugoslavia. We sent in troops and yada yada, things of that nature. Different circumstances, but of course, Obama, President Obama, former President Obama, he also he kind of amped up the troops a little bit more after a lot of political outcry of not being muscular enough. So he kind of, to appease a lot of right wingers, he kind of bumped up the troops levels in I believe Iraq a little bit more. Now in the situation what happened, basically all what Trump ordered was the bombing of an airfield, and you just look at whether online or TV. I don't read print. I just read everything online pretty much now, except for novels, science fiction novels. That's the only thing I read in print anymore. But anyway, if you read and watch the media, BBC or CNN or MSNBC, you'll see that it's just basically just an airfield that was bombed.
It looks like the smallest airport in the world.
Assad's chemical weapons, they're still functional. So what the hell? I mean, it has not changed the facts on the ground.
Did they just
so it looks like he did something, and he wants to be the antithesis to Obama. I mean, we don't want someone who wants someone in the White House sitting there being rational, thinking things through, but you'd rather just act just for the sake of acting. Mind you, 6 people were killed, but you don't really hear about that or read about it. I think they were all, I believe they were all Syrian, of the Syrian, the Syrian army, I believe. But yeah, I'm not a pacifist. There are times to go to war, like World War II, for instance. But situations like Fareed Zakaria on CNN, and he also does other things too. But he made a point that basically just making a statement via the military, and even other military experts, and I'm not an expert in this. This is outside my realm, but I do have opinions. But and more importantly, I'm citing experts who know about it more than I do. And it's like just making a statement, you're bombing an airfield just to show that you mean business. Well, we already made that point when we dropped the atomic bombs on 2 cities in Japan. We already know we have the. Well, actually, people don't realize this, and I encourage the listeners and everyone else to go on to the website and look it up. But it's plowshares, wherever it is, something like that, .com. They do a good job of keeping track of where they're for nuclear disarmament throughout the world. But anyway, they do a good job of keeping track of how many nuclear arms are throughout the world. Russia actually has more. They have something like 9,000 to 10,000 nukes. We have just a slightly less, something like we have about.
That's nuts,
about 500
man.
less than they do.
What do you need all that for? It'd be like Firecracker Day, but the world's blowing up. Like, come on.
Yeah, at that point, it doesn't matter.
No, that's ridiculous.
But
think about how ridiculous that is. Joseph, I got 2 points
here.
Derek, that is ridiculous. To have that many weapons of mass destruction is just ridiculous. Where are you going to use them all? And don't they wear out? And what do you do with them when they wear out? When the expiry date goes on this stuff? Is that why they used up all these cruise missiles on probably a dead target? They just wasted about $1 billion, isn't it now?
Actually, it's something like it's like closer to 2 million or less than 2 million for each time they use each cruise missile.
Yeah, I thought it was $1.5 million per cruise missile. I think it's about almost $1 billion that they 59 missiles. I think it's about $1 billion that they wasted on a dead target that was probably already abandoned. That's what I suspect.
Right. And let me emphasize, if I may, guys. Remember those figures I was telling you about from Plowshares is their name, Plowshares, and of course you can get it from United Nations and of course the official federal governments. You know, there are various ways you can read about this, and the numbers will fluctuate depending on which source that you read. But generally speaking, it's something like 9,000 to 10,000 nukes that Russia has, and we have just slightly under that.
How many
that's
people?
Just those two nations.
How many?
That's just those two nations.
Okay, let's get a vote here. Let's get a vote here. How many people vote that they think it's a dead target that they hit? Do you think there was anyone there, or that was just a setup and an abandoned airport?
I don't think it was an abandoned airport.
I wouldn't be surprised with this administration. That would be something they would do. If you're willing to lie about saying that Obama was not born in the United States and all these alternative facts and everything, you set the standards that we cannot trust you, that you're going to lie about everything. And I get that you don't want to broadcast everything, but when you start just habitually lying to even just about bare facts, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But even if it were a live target, it's in the end it's still just an airfield. It's not like he took out their manufacturing plant or something like that. You guys remember hearing about Stuxnet a few years ago? You guys know what that is?
Okay, so I was told my math is sketchy. Yeah, so it would be like 59 or 100 million for the missiles, somewhere around there.
Okay. All right, yeah, because it's actually one or two of them fell into the sea. It didn't work, and so they had to launch like one or two more to make up for that. Stuxnet was okay. Iran a few years ago, they had centrifuges. That's what you use to separate materials to make nuclear energy. You can use it for bombs, or you can use it just for energy. So I'm saying nuclear energy. Okay, whether or not Iran had the intention of using it for bombs or not, that's a different story. They had centrifuges, thousands of them. The United States, as it's well reported, anybody can Google this. The United States, working with the government of Israel, they had actually hacked into the government of Iran, their defense system, whatever it was, and they hacked it, and then they tricked the centrifugal machinery to spin out of control, and it physically broke down their Iran's government's capability of producing nuclear energy. I'm not talking about bombs, just nuclear energy. We did that about 4 or 5 years ago. That is something, we have that capability. It's not officially acknowledged, but again, you can read about this in several different. It's been around for a few years now. To me, that's a bigger deal, and to me, that's something we could look more into rather than just going out a full-fledged war. Just for what? And here, real quick, I want to make this point, and this is key. And of course, Trump was using the subterfuge of seeing babies dying and foaming at the mouth and all this other stuff, these Syrian babies, and we must attack them because of that. A, you have blocked Syrian babies from coming into this country as refugees. B, does it really matter if it's chemical weapons or if it's barrel bombs from Assad, President al-Assad? Because that's where most of the people are dying from, are from barrel bombs and just basic bombs. But because
who do you think really did that? Do you think he did that? Because, like, Darren, the logic isn't there.
Nope. Maybe they snuck a bomb on one of those planes that was a chemical bomb or something. Maybe they hit a munition on the ground. I can't see him doing that. They've already killed 500,000 people with regular bombs.
Why?
Yeah,
why
so-
if
so
you're
why-
winning
why
the war,
now,
why
right?
do that? It's a false
And
flag.
I understand, and let me say this real quick, and I get that because, relatively speaking, it's still transitioning from Obama. And let me say this too, because it drives me nuts when people say this. I gotta say this real quick. Okay. People keep blaming Obama. He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't, nationalistic enough, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Keep in mind, folks, and I remember this wasn't that long ago. He went to Congress to ask for war, for authorization from Congress. They voted against it. Just like what in United Kingdom, basically and I'm talking about troops. Let me clarify, to send troops in to Syria. That's different from air. Now, that's still military action, just the bombing. It was about sending in troops. The UK Parliament voted against it. If you remember the former Prime Minister, I can't believe I forgot his name. But anyway, the last guy who was Prime Minister, I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway, he wanted to do the same thing as Obama. They voted in the case of the UK Prime Minister, the UK Parliament voted against sending in troops, and so did Congress on our side of the Atlantic, voted against sending in troops. But now all of a sudden they want to. And had President Obama did exactly what Trump did this past week, that is to say, do military strikes without Congress authorization, trust me, the right-wingers in this country, United States, they would have been talking about, oh, he's a dictator. He's trying to bypass Congress. But it's okay for Trump to act without, congressional authority, without a congressional authorization for war. See, this is the stuff that goes on that drives me nuts that people don't talk about. And they're because the way that in American media, they're even in I'm not even talking about Fox, okay? Just basically, your run-of-the-mill media. Basically, it's almost like they're just being lazy or they don't know what happened with the history of it, as if Obama was he was kind of the naval Chamberlain of the 21st century. He was too scared to go strike, al-Assad in Syria. It's like, no, quite frankly, because Obama, and I'm speaking as an African-American who was active and voted for Obama, by the way, I personally think he was afraid of how he would come across as that mean black guy in the White House. So he did not want to do what Trump did because he would automatically be called a dictator because he would have bypassed Congress without getting authorization like Trump just did. There's a lot more moving parts, and just recent history, people need to remind themselves, and I'm being euphemistic when I say remind, because people are conveniently forgetting certain things in history recently. So yeah, I have a lot more. There's a lot more to it than just him dropping Trump sending his planes over to drop missiles onto an airfield, which did not take out the chemical weapons, by the way. But everyone is just cheering him like he did something.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think everyone's cheering at all. I think there's people like us going oh, that's a bummer, man. Like, what the hell? You just wasted all that?
American media, they are.
Now, I want to know, is it really even going on? Are people really getting hurt over there? What's going on, man? Like, is it really children and old people getting choked to death? Or is this all propaganda?
I think it's real, based on, I haven't, I don't have the means to go over there and investigate.
We don't really know. We're looking at pictures on the TV and thinking it's all real. That's the way I look at it now.
Okay. Personally speaking, I would suggest that the reader, because most of us don't have the means to go over and investigate for ourselves, that's why it's good to get a wide variety, and I don't mean Fox News. For me, yeah,
how can we do this? I'm just thinking, I'm just brainstorming. How can we do this now?
I'll get it from... To me, CNN is too far to the right.
Let's go on. No. Listen. Let's go on Twitter right now. Right now on this show, let's all three of us go on Twitter and try to find somebody in Syria and ask them what's really going on over there. Everyone in the chat room.
Done that.
Everyone in the chat room.
That little girl who got a lot of attention. I don't remember her name. She's here. I think she's in the United States. She finally got, her and her family finally got out. Now, mind you, a lot because this is social media, so a lot of the postings, those people are coming from Syria, they're going to be posting. It's going to be in Arabic, okay? because I've seen a few of them. So unless
I've
you speak
got
Arabic or you do the translator.
I've got the
which is not
Translate
the
app
best,
on
by the
mine.
way.
You can get the Translate app pretty easily. I've got it on mine. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then you just hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I suggest people to read, the established, because the established news, BBC, Mother Jones, even CNN, MSNBC. Stay away from Fox. Stay away from all those right-wing bastards. But I suggest that you just go ahead and just check out social media to kind of counteract some of that with the established media. But established media, we can't write them off totally. I know that, speaking as a lefty, because a lot of us lefties, we do the same thing too. But here's the thing
is
about it.
lefty?
We don't
Wait
have
a
the
minute.
means to fly in.
People in Canada don't know what a lefty
is.
is. We think it's the way that your dick goes in your pants, left or right. That's
Okay.
For us. A lefty is you curve to the left.
But you see what I'm saying? But we have to be able to balance it. And here's another. Democracy Now! Is another good source. Amy Goodman. I have seen her in person. She came here to Lincoln, Nebraska a few years ago. Amy Goodman, Democracy Now! On the radio. Everybody can Google this, and most people probably know her. I suggest you check out these alternative people who also do news like Amy Goodman and whatnot. Again, stay away from right-winger. Do not give those people any legitimacy.
So they're
That's my
righties.
strong suggestions to people.
People
What's
that their junk goes to the right usually are left-handed. And that means you're a politician.
I wouldn't know because I don't look at other people.
Do you know that most politicians are all
I'm just
left-handed?
saying.
Do you know they're all left-handed? Almost every politician's been left-handed. I wonder if Donald Trump's left-handed.
I don't know.
And it has to do something with leadership quality too, and also
Well, Bob, I know he's right-handed.
the RH
I
negative.
remember-
I believe the RH negative factor goes into it too, if I'm not mistaken. You guys know anything about
There were
that?
several presidents that were left-handed. You are right about that, but I think it's just coincidental. But there could be something, maybe slightly paranoid. I don't believe in, there may be something more to it. You get into a lot of behavioral politics, behavioral social sciences. Certain personalities are attracted to certain jobs because if you're type A, you tend to be more into politics because it takes a lot of to push yourself. You got to be pushy, and you got to be, So you probably get more into behavioral science. Is probably what that's more about.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but apparently, I'm pretty sure about this. Like, I'm gonna Google this. We're gonna take a break here, I think.
So that was our news segment.
Well, I think we may come back to that topic, but for now, let's everyone just try to. We're gonna come back with some different. I think we're gonna talk about Star
Skype keeps
Wars.
dropping out on me. Is it dropping out on you guys a little bit?
No.
What's that?
No.
Okay.
No,
Good.
everything's clear for me.
Good. Okay.
What's going on here? Okay. All right. So, we're going to come back. We're going to take a short break here, and if everyone could just go ahead and try to get a hold of somebody, say through social media in Syria, and at the end of the show,
let's do this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that, and come back, and maybe later, if anybody comes up with something later, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I was getting a little bit out of hand there. For a Sunday afternoon, that was terrible. Yeah, I apologize, folks. Yeah. What are we going to come up with next here? So you went or you are going to a Star Wars convention?
Both. I went to Anaheim, California, Los Angeles, in 2015 for the Force Awakens. They call them celebrations. Like Comic-Con was. It's called Celebrations, Star Wars Celebrations. And then I'll be going this week to Orlando, Florida, for the Star Wars of Orlando. SWCO hashtag SWCO. So both. I've been to one in the Los Angeles area, and I'm about to go to Orlando. So it'll be my second Star Wars convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, Imperial March.
Here we go. I'll leave you with the Imperial March. We'll be back shortly on Monster Castle Paranormal Sunday afternoon show with less political talk. We return. And we're back. Wow, that was groovy, man. I dig that theme. Wow. Okay, let's talk about something different, totally different. Let's talk about the Star Wars conventions.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to talk about, actually.
Sounds good.
I've never been to one.
Did you want me to just...
What's it like?
I was trying to follow your lead. You want me to go? Or?
So, yeah, because I've never been to one. And a lot of people haven't, and we want to know what we're missing. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm sure most of my listeners are.
Awesome. Well, I back in 2015, if you guys remember, The Force Awakens came out, and that's, of course, the most recent movie that 2 years ago at that time, since Revenge of the Sith. So it was huge. It was held in Anaheim, California, Los Angeles area, and it was just crazy. I had never been to any convention up to that point yet. So my initiation into the convention lifestyle was a rude awakening. I mean, there were so many people there. It's like, think of a big football game wherever it is, and some of those football stadiums, like here in Lincoln, Nebraska, ours hold something like 98,000 people. It wasn't quite that big, obviously. That's like a small city within a city, but it was something. It felt like that. It was so huge. They had to organize people into different sections, and I stayed overnight when I arrived in Los Angeles, and then went to Anaheim. I stayed overnight, as well as thousands of other people. And so that way, because we wanted to make it into the main act, if you will, and that was the convention center in Anaheim. They had J.J. Abrams, they had Kathleen Kennedy, producer, J.J. Abrams, of course, being the director. They had Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. I got a chance to see her before she passed away, so I was very fortunate that way. I got a chance just to see her for like an hour. It was awesome. Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, and the newcomers. They had Daisy Ridley. They had John Boyega. They had Oscar Isaacs. I'm still learning him. He's kind of new to the scene. So I got a chance to see all those people. They were on the stage, but we got a chance to interact. It was awesome. And that's in addition to, the cosplay. And for those who don't know, cosplay is basically costume play. You dress the part of some fandom, whether it's, Star Trek, Star Wars, or Harry Potter, whatever it is. I personally don't do that. That's just not my thing. What I do is I do a lot of Star Wars fan fiction. As a science fiction writer, that's no surprise there. I've got several of them. If you just Google my name, Joseph Moore, Star Wars fan fiction, you'll probably see it. Going to the Star Wars convention, you get a chance to see the actors, the producer, the people behind it. And of course, a bunch of collecting things, and it was just wild. J.J. Abrams, shout out to him. He was so nice enough, and I think maybe Kathleen Kennedy too. They bought like cheese pizza for like those thousands of people. It wasn't thousands of pieces now, but they, just some free pieces to hold us over when we were staying over the night over in the convention center. So that's what I went through the first time 2 years ago. This time it'll be in Orlando, and I take off Wednesday, and it actually starts Thursday. And Friday, Mark Hamill, he's going to have some kind of special, what's the word? I'm not sure what to say. I guess you could say some kind of, not service is probably too strong of a word, but remembrance of Carrie Fisher. That'll be Friday. I think it's in the early evening. So I plan on going to that. It's not like I knew her personally, but growing up as a Star Wars geek, it's literally almost like losing a family member. So I plan on going that. That will definitely be very sober because it'll be the first time that we, the majors, Kenny Baker, the guy who played the original R2-D2, he died, I think, a couple of years ago or so. So she's not the first of the Star Wars family to
Master
died,
Mastaba. Okay, I gotta ask you something. I know you're an atheist, right?
Okay.
So I'm really curious what a person like you would think, what's going to happen to her, like what happened to Carrie Fisher when she died?
Nothing. It's just non-existence. And the body is left behind. And it's like, I was talking to someone recently, and I used to use this analogy all the time. It's not a really good one. When people say you unplug a computer, it goes, well, as we all know, computers, whatever device you use, it actually retains information. So maybe that's not the best analogy to use because some people will see that as an afterlife. It's just, we don't exist anymore. Our consciousness is dead. And the body is still behind. It's just that simple.
We go to the same place we were before we were born.
Which is if you're talking about the consciousness, which is nowhere. Because yes, people don't like to hear this, but we're biological machines in our consciousness. I don't use the word spirit. I don't use the word soul. I say consciousness because we're awake. We're sentient beings. We're aware of our surrounding and ourselves. And we feel, and we also have a sense of awareness about ourselves within the universe. Basically, sentientness. And that's a bit deeper because other animals are sentient too, but they don't know their place in the universe. But anyway. But no,
do you believe in the Force?
Well, obviously it's fiction, but it's just fiction. As big of a Star Wars geek as I am, in the end, it's
hey, wait a minute. Some of us believe in the Force, man.
Well, if they do, they're actually in the UK. They actually recognize Jediism is actually recognized as a religion. Believe it or not.
There you go.
In the UK. That was several years, like 10 years ago, I think, close to that, when it was officially recognized as a religion somewhere in the UK. If anyone's listening by podcast and they know more about this than I do, it'd be awesome to hear them either call or to go on social media and let us know if you could. And of course, listeners can Google it themselves, or whatever, research it. I should say research it themselves. It's out there, but yeah, it's a real religion recognized in the UK, but I don't think anywhere else. But I will say this in regard, and it kind of connects with the Star Wars things we're talking about and my atheism. This is what's interesting about what George Lucas did back, with the prequels, The Force Awakens, the Revenge of the Sith and whatnot. Those who've watched Star Wars will know what I'm talking about when I say midi-chlorian.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think you've gone. Midi-chlorian is the something they find in the blood. And
it makes them use the Force better.
Yeah, if they don't have enough midi-chlorians, then that's how they judge how powerful your Force can be. So
right, exactly. Like, and just as a reference, and it was in the very first prequel, the Phantom Menace, when Qui-Gon Jinn and young Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor and I forgot the actor's name who played Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
they're on Tatooine, and this is where they first, how we first meet Anakin Skywalker when he's a little child, and they take a sample, or I should say, Qui-Gon Jinn takes a sample of young Anakin Skywalker's blood, and his midichlorians are through the roof. They're even more than Yoda's. So quantity does matter. Well, fans didn't like it because a lot of Star Wars fans, they're kind of I like Star Trek, but not as much as they do Star Wars. It's just a different, Star Trek is kind of more of your typical science fiction, as in hard science, and then you speculate, speculative fiction, science fiction, Gene Roddenberry, and of course you think of, more Arthur C. Clarke, people of that nature. Star Wars, of course, is more like science fantasy. Good versus evil, just more vague things. A lot of the fans did not like the introduction of midi-chlorians because it sounds too scientific to them. So they just wanted the Force to be this ethereal, this deist almost kind of thing, because a lot of these people who are Star Wars fans, I think a lot of them, I think they tie in some of their religious faith, spirituality, whatever you want to call it. And even though it's fiction, it's almost like my fellow fans, and I'm talking about like
Liam
over 10 years ago
Neeson.
now.
By the way, Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, thank you. Liam Neeson, thank you. Excellent actor. All of them, excellent actor. And I didn't mean any disrespect towards him. I just forgot I'm not the best with names. But anyway, a lot of these Star Wars fans, to them, is like, no, don't make it. It's too scientific. I personally love the introductions of the midichlorians, and maybe this is the atheist in me talking, because I don't believe in spiritual stuff and the afterlife, and I'm into the paranormal, but honestly, it's really more for entertainment. But again, I'm not a debunker. I believe in investigating things.
Have you ever tried this experiment where you close your eyes and walk towards a wall and see if you feel that somewhere? You should feel it with your sixth sense.
Actually,
or have somebody walk across the room silently, or just stretch your hand out and point at your forehead while your eyes are closed. You should feel that.
If I may, about the wall, I would suggest that, of course, as you're walking, you're going to make some noise. And whether you're breathing or whether your footsteps on the floor, it's going to bounce off and ricochet off the wall. And so it's almost like the bat senses, that's how they're able to, quote unquote, see. It's kind of like that even with humans. If you close your eyes, you walk closer and closer. Well, just the sound of your breathing or your footsteps are going to ricochet off that whatever item or
no,
object
I'm talking
it is.
silently. Okay,
And so
totally
that is,
silently. No noise. Absolutely no noise. Your friend just stretches his or her arm out towards you, trying not to break the air too much because we don't want air. Just very slowly, and then point at your forehead while your eyes are closed. Then there's no air, there's no sound, there's nothing. You will still feel it. I call it a sixth sense. and you will feel it.
There is energy in the body.
I kind of, I haven't studied. I understand.
I think I don't know how it works.
And
but
one of
I
my
have
novels,
experienced it.
what I did,
it does work, but I don't know how it works.
Okay.
And maybe it's something to do with electricity and our electromagnetic field. But there is a sixth sense.
Well,
blind people know all about
it. It's possible. In one of my novels, it's called The Solar Bridge: The Unintended Consequences of Time Travel. I don't, and I just touch upon that just a tiny bit because it was more that was science fiction versus paranormal. So back then, this came out back to 2005. Anyway, one of the things I dealt with was people from the future being genetically altered, where they have more like seventh sense, and one of the senses is like they can feel color.
Okay, people can do that actually.
Red, you can touch red, if you will. With your fingers,
This is
without
not
touching an object.
This is not science
the
fiction,
color.
man. They've done studies on this. This is real. Some people can feel colors. Blind people can feel colors. They can touch the paper and tell you what color it is.
What do you mean by that? You have to educate me on that. In what sense do they feel color?
This has been documented since the 60s. They've done experiments with it. Blind people just touching a paper, and when they touch red, they can say that's red, and it's proven. There's no explanation for it, but it is proven.
Okay, well, this is one of those cases where I will have.
I forget what you call it, but this is one of the first
things.
things I studied way back in the day, man. There's definitely people that can touch colors and tell you what color it is, and they'll say it feels warmer
like you and I
or something.
Talked about before, Wolfman Mike. I am a skeptic. I just, and that's part of it's the atheism
Okay.
in me. That's
I'm gonna Google it right now. I'm gonna see if I can find something.
But with that said, I just want to say, but I'm also not a debunker. If there's part of the scientific method, which I strongly believe in, and secular humanists, generally speaking, we're really big on the scientific method.
Okay, here we go. Here's a topic.
Check it out.
Here's a topic for you. Okay, how come when blind people that have never had sight before in their life, they've never had sight, they can never see since they were a baby, they could never see. How come they can still have dreams with colors and everything in it, and that they explain to people and seeing people the way they and everything? Like, how can they do that?
Well, I have to research. I have read some things about like people who I've actually heard. I can't even remember the details now, but I read about this person who's got sight for the first time in their lives just last year. I think it was a young woman. I just kind of glanced. I kind of read it a bit. I didn't really take that much. It was like, okay, cool. But so I didn't do great research on this, but this is my guess based on biology. There are certain things that human beings that we're born with that it's almost like when you have a car, you have certain options, and some people they don't select or they don't have certain things built in, like an extra switch for let's say for a sunroof or a moonroof, and you just see like this little pan on your panel or your dashboard, you see like this rectangular shape, but there's nothing there. Well, unless you utilize the options method and you make a special order, or that's perhaps part of the order of a car, then they can make the car to have a sunroof. That's the closest thing I can think of, because I would have to do research on myself. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to just believe that. Oh, there's some mystical reason for. There's always a logical explanation to things. We just don't know what it is yet.
Okay,
And
how do you explain? Okay, go ahead, Darren, and then I got one.
I know a little bit about this. Blind people don't really have dreams about what they experience in their world. So they don't really see things like we do. They experience it in their dream. It's different. And did you guys know that when people get their sight back, the suicide rate for those people is like 30%? It's really, really difficult for anybody to get their sight back. It just is exhausting. And they don't really, their brains didn't develop at a young age. Have you read the book Crashing Through?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it was a skier that had the world record in speed skiing, and he was blind, and he got his sight back, and he talks about seeing his wife for the first time and not even knowing it was her, and just how difficult and absolutely exhausting it is for the brain
to have never seen, to have to learn what things are. You'd have to touch everything to know what it is. It's a fascinating read. It's one of my favorite books of all time. If anyone has a chance to read it.
No, I was not aware of that. That's very interesting, and that's an example of what I mean by when you and I talked last time on the air. Wolfram and Mike. And thank you, Darren. That's an excellent example. To me, that would fall under. That makes sense. That's logical, to be honest with you.
I've got,
but it's not the same as supernatural. You know,
I've got the explanation here. Here it is.
Okay.
A blind person can feel the thermal energy deposited by light, and so can be convinced that light exists and carries energy. Then it is just a matter of description of what light is and its properties. I'm afraid that for a blind man, this may remain abstract and unverifiable, and he may just have to take his friend's word for it. But you can give a blind man a device that senses light and emits. Okay, wait a minute.
Have you seen those blind people that use clicks just like bats, and they can ride bikes and everything else if they do it from the time they're young?
No, I personally have not seen that.
Yeah, there was a kid that would click all the time. He'd just make clicking sounds all the time, and he would just
you
just
mean
fine.
Like with his mouth or something, or
yes. He can even ride a bike.
That makes sense.
It wasn't the article I was looking for, but it's.
That's cool. But no. There's always some, but anyway, that's with the midichlorians things, with the Star Wars things. That ties in with a lot of people. Most people are, and I do basically lectures or presentations, whatever you want to call them, at university. I won't say the name, just to make sure some controversy or something doesn't come up. There's a local, a regional university. I do lectures as an atheist. I do it like 2 or 3 times a year. I used to do it with the secular humanist organization. I helped co-found it.
Yeah, let's.
But anyway,
wait a minute. Back up. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Joseph, you got to explain to everyone what a secular humanist is.
Okay. Let me finish this first, and then I'll do that real quick, if that's okay.
Right.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Let me say this. I'll finish this, and then I'll explain what secular humanist is, as opposed to what an atheist is. Anyway, one of the things it's my business to know about demographics. Most people are very much religious, and United States atheists, people, now they're different. You can go to adherence.com. You can go to United Nations. You can go to something survey. It's something religious survey or something. There are different sources you can get your information from. But it seems like between all these different sources, atheists in the United States specifically, we only make up about 5% of the population of a nation of about 330 million. So that's very small. So a lot of people, most people are just simply, if not religious, they're very spiritual. Unfortunately, from my perspective as an atheist, that's not going to change anytime soon. I'm very disappointed in the human race, to be honest with you guys, in that we just cannot let go of a lot of the stuff that our ancient ancestors. I can understand why astrology was around, okay, and eventually became astronomy, and because our ancestors didn't know better. They didn't have the knowledge, and they didn't have the tools of science that we have today. I get that, okay, but when 2017, and we're still talking about, anyway, people are going to believe what they want to believe, okay? Now, okay, this is what, on my Twitter feed, I got 2 Twitter feeds. I have one that's just Joseph Moore, my name, Joseph Moore, Joseth, and then Moore. I do that. I hardly do. I just put up a bunch of stuff about my ebooks and my novels, and I tweet other people's scientific or science fiction or science related stuff.
Science.
I leave
she
that
can
alone.
also
I don't
taste
mess
them
with that
and
very
hear
much.
them and smell them. The 20-year-old junior at the University of Maine has synesthesia, a rare neurological condition in which 2 or more of the senses entwine. Numbers and letters, sensations and emotions, days and months are all associated with colors for Carrie.
Okay, this is
All right.
that is not the exact one, but these kids can smell and taste colors.
Okay. All right. Let me finish this up real quick for you, and then we'll go on that tangent. Let me finish this real quick. I know I'm going along. That's the unfortunate side effects of education. You learn a lot, so you tend to speak a lot. So I'll try to keep it a little bit shorter. Atheists are just basically people who do not believe in the notion of any gods at all. Okay. The reason why I say it that way, because most people, when you say I don't believe in God, because of course we're in a society, a Western society that's mostly Christian, we're used to talking about the monotheistic notion of a God. Well, of course, there are thousands, like 4,000 religions on the earth. There are several pantheistic religions. So I say gods, not just the Christian gods, not just the Muslim gods, not just the Judeo-Jewish gods, gods in general. We just don't believe in the existence of any gods, okay? That's what an atheist is. Secular humanists, I'm not going to go into like where the Latin phrase came and all this other stuff, but basically it's like separation of church and state. Secular means of this tangible world. Secular. If you take your dollar, not just in the United States. So if anybody besides the United States, whoever has an American dollar bill, the $1 bill, flip that on the back. Look at the seal, the Great Seal of the United States. You'll see the pyramid with the floating eye. I believe it says something about secular, New World Order and all this other stuff. That's where you can see the word secular. That just means of this tangible world. New World Order is what that basically says in the dollar bill. Secular humanism. Now, humanism, and this actually goes, and again, I'm not going to go on too long. Basically, this goes back to the European times of the Renaissance. That is because of humanists from Europe during the Renaissance era. That is why we have astronomy. Sorry, that is why we have biology and chemistry, and why we have satellites. Because a lot of such as Galileo and Copernicus and Kepler and there are all these other people that we've forgotten or don't know about back in the European times, because it was dangerous to not believe in some notion of God. Well, I'll say God back then, or not to be in the church. Galileo is a good prime example of that. And so a lot of these people, they actually had to be careful talking about science. The sun being the center of the solar system. Well, because in the Bible you think that's where the humanism comes in, and secular humanism. It's just of this tangible world. And not that it's against religion, it's just neutral to the issue of religion. That's why those who follow American politics, that's why you hear such a stink that we're going through about this separation of church and state, the transgender versus, all this other stuff. And because if we had secularism throughout this whole world, trust me, we would not have the problem in the Middle East we do today, because a lot of these people try to have theocratical societies where they try to force other people to live like them in their religious viewpoints.
Well,
that's why it's good.
We're going to break, Joseph. We're going to break, buddy. Save your thought. Yeah, all right.
Oh, thank you.
Sunday afternoon.
Awesome, thank you.
Groovy. It's groovy with the Wolfman. Sunday afternoon, all right. Can you dig it? KTLK, thefringe.fm. We'll be back with this secular humanist in a few minutes here.